Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. How you doing there, guys? We've got Fenrir, Romaine. I tell you what, that does remind me of Trailer Park Boys and Propane, with Mr. Leahy. Somebody's going to get that. How you doing there, Vermin? You've got so many different names, I'm going to have to choose one, aren't I? Vermin, otherwise known as Thunder, otherwise known as, what's the other name that you go by? How you doing there, George? See, this is it. Noticed you. There we go. I've got it this time. How you doing there, Van? No name. Menosphere, good to have you, my friend. Iceycrome Diligent, how you doing there, my friend? Yeah, we'll get going here in just a moment. Yeah, that's it, Shiver Sprite. I knew it was one of those as well there. You need to pick one. How you doing, Carl? Glad you're well. Whoops. Wrong image. Right, there we go. I hope that the actual chat box will work today. That would be nice. Oh, right, okay. That's interesting. Isn't that also the name of a type of lettuce as well, actually? Yes, I'll look into the actual changing the server and the Discord, etc. Probably after this. Okay. Yeah, I hope it will work. I've got the preferences over here. I mean, it's set to... So that's... I wonder if it keeps resetting here. That might be why. Okay, we'll try this again then. So I'll try that with 2, see how that goes there. Ideally it does work out. That'd be nice. How you doing there, Necro Onion? Good to have you, my friend. Hello there, John. How you doing there, Joe? Good to have you, my friend. Stam Kirken, Mr. AMMW. Good to have you, my friend. And Zerif. Right, so we're looking at 4 today, then. Go ahead and take a look at this, then. So... doesn't look like the chat box is working. I need to reset that and get it actually working. It's a shame, but oh well. Indeed, yes. We do have a few options today. I do feel like Dadman will be moving his carriers at full speed. There's still a chance that we might be able to intercept him, but we are going to have to see there. I don't think it's going to happen. But we'll have to see, really. Oh, that's a shame. Ah, okay, well we occupy Tay, which is fine, so we would have attacked there anyway to take the base. But that's fine, it means that we have it immediately available to us then. Right, okay, so we see the carrier force is still in position there. How you doing there, Rez? Good to have you, my friend. Reacting over here, but it looks like he might be sending either the subs there. I think they were reacting to the submarines. Couldn't quite tell. Oh no, I tell you what it is, it's the heavy cruisers that are moving south, isn't it? That's it. Now, ideally, they're not actually hit by any torpedoes. Right, here we go. So I did send the heavy cruiser south to actually go ahead and deal with the destroyers out here. It looks like something's over here to make us out, but I do have a battleship force over there as well. We should be able to handle that. So we do find ourselves engaging the Van Ghent. I imagine they're quite low on ammunition and probably fuel at this point. Hey, Demersal, good to have you, my friend. Yeah, hopefully we can actually dodge a good number of actual 1,000-pound bombs. Okay, so it looks like we do actually hit the Van Ghent then. Yeah, then I was actually hoping that something would have blown up a little bit more, but that's fine. Right, so it looks like we do take a bit of a hit there. Apparently severe engine damage, ideally it's not as severe as we actually fear it to be. Yeah, we are at 1,000 yards here. We do hit with a 12.7. Torpedoes out. And we hit the Van Ghent with a torpedo. Okay. Well, it's not often. And a second torpedo. Wow. Okay, yeah. Yeah, she goes down there. Yeah, it's not all that often you actually hit a destroyer with a torpedo, let alone 2 torpedoes. Okay, so it looks like it actually was... it did say engine damage. Okay, thankfully it's not so too bad there. Yeah, I know, right? 2 shells, 2 torpedoes. That's pretty economic. It's better than having to use lots and lots of shells there, really. So not too... oh, there we go, the Mariosa. There we go, she's a nice little AK. We've been tracking her, actually. So that's 2 torpedoes into the side of the Mariosa. Mariso. There we go, the Mariso. Yeah, she's going to go down there, which is nice. We do see the additional targets out this way. Still see our targets out down here in the south. We will be looking to split the MKB. She does go down. Right, I-172 out here by Layson Island, which is an interesting one, actually. I do wonder what this is actually escorting. I'd love to see what is actually in here. He could, of course, still be just sending destroyers, potentially, to engage our own destroyers. So I see 3 destroyers out here, then. Okay. There could be more out there. Right, thankfully the submarine there does miss. You can see he's heading south. It looks like he might be heading down to Kopang. I actually do have a heavy cruiser set to head down here to Kopang, I do believe. Which is good. We did see something over here. I wonder if that was just the actual submarine there. So reacting the area. Merging over there, okay. Merging over there to Hong Kong. Yeah, there we go. Looks like he was heading south, and we've found him once again. How you doing, VanHouten? Good to have you, my friend. If we could actually try to completely wipe out the actual Dutch destroyers, I would be quite happy. Would be a threat gone. It is an important one that we do need to actually remove. They're going to be at their weakest right now. They've used a lot of munitions, as we mentioned, fuel. They're easy prey to this sort of attack here that we are launching. Yeah, indeed. I mean, we're at 2,000 yards. So he's been ordered to disengage. Torpedoes out there. 4,000 yards. Come on, we need to actually hit out. Right. Torpedoes out once again. Task force breaks off. That's... okay, not ideal. I was hoping that we would actually been able to take it out there. We will still pick up on her, really. Yeah, Everton. We'll find her. We do have another heavy cruiser task force in the area as well, so we may yet still be able to pick up on them. Possibly next turn there, really. We'll see. But of course, we are moving into the day phase, so we'll see. Oh, I did send our forces to actually land over here at Naga. So this is actually a infantry regiment. It's not a full regiment by any stretch of the imagination, but it actually does come from, was it Amami Oshima? I can't recall it. I think it's Amami Oshima. But they've travelled down here. It's about, I think it's about 600 infantry. I can't recall the amount of actual second line. Yes, there we go, Amami Oshima. That's where they came from. It's not like a full regiment, but it's enough to take the base down there. There's no resistance as far as I'm aware. Which is good. It gives us additional infantry there in the south of Luzon, so we can actually take control of extra parts of the island. So we are loading... oh, okay, some elements lost on the 25th Army. Should be able to manage that. Right, so we do see submarines down here then. I did send actual patrol boats down here to the south. I'm preparing to actually move forces out of the Kandari area. So at least we know he is patrolling this area now. Yeah, exactly. Right, so attempts to actually fire upon the destroyer there. Or am I sending them out this day? I can't recall. Oh, hell yes! That's all we need there. Oh, that is a brilliant hit there. The first depth charge actually hits. Look at that. Damage there to the actual torpedo tube. Okay, that's good. That's good. 2 hits, but that actually did cause some pretty significant damage. It's not saying heavy amounts of damage here. But that's some actual real damage there. We may yet pick up on her later on, but that's a real good hit there. Right, so we are seeing the allied ships there by Rangoon. Yeah, I'd like to know if that's like shallow waters in this area. It might not be, but I'm not entirely sure there. Right, so sub-chaser out that way. We are still seeing the actual ships out there by Coco's Island. Yep, okay, so we know where his destroyers have gone. We have sank one of them. At least we can obviously give chase. It looks like his carriers, obviously, yep. Okay, so they've given us the actual slip over there. So it looks like they are going full speed. It looks like they might be heading south of Buin, south of the Shortlands. I didn't quite get enough chance to take a look at that. We are moving into the daytime, which is less than great. So he might have only actually... no, actually, I think he's only moved at... I think he's only moved at cruise speed, which is interesting. So it might get particularly bloody in the day. But we'll see. He's not that far, and he's actually moved south. Interesting. Okay, yeah, we do have the actual light cruisers out there reacting to him. We are seeing SBDs out this way. Interesting. Damage by flak. Right. So it looks like he's actually going further south than we actually anticipated here. We had thought he might have gone through here, or through this area. We also saw something near the American coastline as well, which is pretty interesting. Now, that's a lot of search. It would be rather unfortunate to lose those actual cruisers, but it's not too far. I actually expected them to move further than that. It is interesting to see that we haven't had any engagement, which is an odd one. But there's still a few cruisers out in the area. Possibly to New Zealand. I think it's just essentially trying to move beyond the islands there. Oh, so we should have the 38th division arrive today at Lingayen. Oh no, sorry, San Fernando. Okay. Lots of actual search today. And you know what, actually I didn't even realise, but yes, the sounds are working. So that's really good news. I don't think any of it has actually noticed, did they? Okay. Right. I do wonder if he's actually got his... Right, this is where we'll see today. And so we are actually sweeping over here. I'm going in at very high altitude. About 32,800, the absolute maximum for the zeros. Which isn't exactly ideal for us. It's not exactly maneuver warfare. Yeah, best kind of background. Right, okay. Well, they can't get much higher than that. Okay, that's a hawk down. We get a black hawk down. Well, it's a green hawk, but close enough. Dutch hawk down. Okay. Now, fatigue is something obviously that we do need to manage here, but we are trying to actually whittle away of his forces here. I'm not launching an actual airstrike against the airfield today. The reason being I want to actually take more of the cap down before we do that. We know that he's actually doing this at very high altitudes with the cap, which is difficult. It means that if we do fly lower, he will pretty much just bypass the fighters for the most part, and obviously get the dive in there too. Yeah, and that's good to know. Well, we still have chances to pick up on them. Maybe not this turn, but they're not far. There's a heavy cruiser group, well, 2 heavy cruiser groups in the area. He's not really got much in the way of actual opportunities to escape if we can actually force him to stay in ports. I'm going to speed this up and see what the results are. Okay. Hey, didn't that Black Star? Well, it looks like he's actually moved south. Well, not south, about southeast-ish, around that sort of area. I'm not entirely sure if he's actually launching a naval strike this turn. He didn't last turn. I imagine he probably will this turn. It is interesting to note that he hasn't actually detached any of his surface forces. It looks like our surface forces are on his arse, but they haven't actually been able to get into battle, which is interesting. But we'll see there. Hey, Dinesh National, good to have you, my friend. Okay. So we destroy a hawk. It's not listing any zeros have been being destroyed. I imagine he will be launching his airstrikes from the carriers. I'd be surprised if he didn't. But we'll soon see. I hope not. And if he doesn't, then it's going to be really interesting to see what the positions are like. So we do have our second sweep going in over here to Batavia. Or Batavia, however you want to pronounce it. Again, coming in high. And we do have the numbers of zeros to continue to do this. What we'll have to do is obviously rotate the squadrons out. So that's the demon down there. Yeah, so what I'll look then is manage the fatigue. Also look at the fatigue of the aircraft, damage of the aircraft as well. But it looks like we are breaking through the cap here. This one's much better this time around. And that's what we want to do here. It's not long before we'll be landing over here at Batavia. I do want to actually try and clear this area out. I'd love to clear this area mine so we could actually have the ability to bombard here. That would be quite nice. Though it does stand to potentially damage the industry. We'll have to take a look. He does have a number of ships out here that appear to be potentially PT boats. But I would like to actually get rid of, really. Yeah, this one's looking better. We are being engaged now ourselves. So we are taking some damage here. We're not too far from base. We do have a decent amount of aviation support there. But yeah, this is a still a good match that will ultimately win. We do have superior pilots, and we do have good aircraft. Yeah, getting behind him is always a good thing. What I need to do is ground his actual cap, and then that means when we actually do bring bombers in, not this turn, but next turn as well, we're hitting him on the airfield. So I'm going to speed this one up. Okay, so it does not list us of having lost anything. We might lose zero operational losses, but we shoot down 3 fighters via the actual battle overhead. Right, still time for his chaos strikes. Right, so we have 3 more zeros coming in here. Obviously, Friesens is actually a large group. It's obviously part of the same group, or one of the groups there earlier. But that's fine, we do shoot down another hawk. I'll take that. One of them drops out there, due to the controls. So just the 2 here, 2 versus 4. Engaging from behind. There we go, shoot down a demon. Engaging the B339D. The Hawk is a... Well, actually, no, I think the... No, the Hawk is a different aircraft. I can't recall what aircraft the Hawk is, actually. Right, you can see that we are diving from pretty high up there. Right, another demon. 2 more demons in the fight. There goes another demon down. Oh, is it a P-36? Okay. Yeah, it's quite similar to the Buffalo, isn't it? Slightly different. Right, that demon spins away on fire. We are being dived on ourselves. Right, one more drops out, and the other one drops out. So that was a good result there. That was a very good result there. So at least 2 destroyed there, which is quite good. Right, we are hitting Singapore again here, hitting the airfields. We are seeing a couple Buffalo over here. There should have actually been a sweep overhead, actually. Yes, I have to obviously buy forces to move them out of China. He's fine with me moving units from Manchuria. Yeah, indeed, they're doing pretty well today. We had a bad day not too long ago, so this is actually much better. Okay. I'm hoping, yeah, I'm actually, Oh no, we should actually have a larger amount of escort today as well. Yeah, we should have a larger amount of escort today. But indeed, I'm hoping that we'll have as good of a result as we did last time of actually hitting the airfields here at Singapore. I should actually have more detection level over Singapore this time around, so we'll see. Oh, we do lose 1 there, but that's okay. 2, sorry. Jeez. Okay. Oh well. Comes with the territory, really. Yeah, everything that isn't exactly on the front line is being utilised in training. Okay, so we do lose 2 there. We do land a few hits. Not as great as it was yesterday, but that's fine. Then again, the army pilots that we have in the nades aren't the best. So we do see him actually striking out against our forces over here. Which is not too surprising. I have had them in place so I can actually rest them somewhat. So we do see 21 casualties, though these are only disabled. It's not great, but it's not too bad. I could potentially exploit that against him. Again, I'm not seeing anything from the American carriers as of yet. There's still time. Hey, SunYan, good to have you, my friend. We will have a second bout of Johor Bahru today. Right, there we go. So we see some of our own planes actually from the Minika. So let's see what we find. So we do find the Oiler, the Tan 6, which is a good find here. Ideally, we can sink them all today. So we do have 2 bombs into the Tan. She's already damaged. 3rd bomb into the Tan there. Of course, they're not carrying fuel. Okay, heavy fires, heavy damage. If she doesn't go down from that, she'll go down shortly. Right, here we go. So we have 2 over here then attacking the Tan 3. We do miss it, unfortunately, but you can see she's already heavily damaged there. Heavy fires, heavy damage. She keeps getting hit by the actual naval search. We've had a few good sweeps over Java. We've seen the American carriers move, but we don't see an airstrike yet. Something's just sank there, moving into the air phase PM. Seeing ships out that way. Ships over their side, so that might have been the group that we previously had lost contact with. Right, okay, so we are seeing his actual ships out there still, the carrier group. B5N2's reported an LST nearby, which is an interesting one. Apparently 6 allied ships out that way is an interesting one as well. Right, okay. It doesn't look like he's actually running them in naval attack, which is really good news. I mean, there's a lot of potential damage that could be done to our ships here, but we are actually damaging some of his own aircraft. Right, near Marcus Islands is a... that could be the 3rd carrier. That's likely the 3rd carrier there. Hey, no chance. My first time watching the series, I have to catch up. Well, this is a series where I've been able to put a lot of the actual lessons learned, and this is the one where we can really try and run rampant, which is really nice. Could it be that he's very low on bombs on his carriers? I would be very, very surprised if he was. It looks like there might be a 3rd carrier in the north, which is to be expected. But on Tong Java seems to be just not... Yeah, his position's just north there of on Tong Java, which is interesting. We are seeing actual aircraft out that way. Interesting. Oh, so we do have our sweep over Singapore at last. Ideally, we do have the rest of the actual strike package arrive over Singapore today. Yeah, as Diligent says there. I think he knows that there's a lot of targets in the area. It's a case of, as you can see with the actual Minika down here, even though there's lots of targets, because they're actually spread out in different task forces, it's actually less... It's more difficult for the carriers, really. Okay, so no losses inflicted, no losses sustained, actually. Fair enough. Yeah, the zeros are late, I know, right? They got up late. Right, I was hoping for a little bit more of a Singapore, but it seems like we might have had potentially some weather issues. There we go, now they're showing up on time. That's good news. Of course, the air phase is still not done, so we may yet see something from the carriers, but I'd imagine if it was going to happen, it would have happened already by now. So we do see that we have 15 Ki-43s over here, 28 Ki-27s. I've actually increased the amount of Ki-27 escorts as well, so we do get through here with the Ki-21 Sallies. Right, there go, 2 allied aircraft destroyed on the actual runway, 1 damage there. This looks like a much better result this time around. Of course, this is continuing to increase the amount of damage that we've already inflicted, which is really good news. And what we will do then, the day before we actually arrive, we do lose one sadly, the day before we actually arrive at Singapore and actually hit the base, we'll switch over to hitting his ground forces. There we go. I doubt it, Carl. I'd love to say that, but I doubt it. Okay, so we do lose a Sally there to flak. We destroy 1 wildebeest on the ground there. A couple more hits is nice. Yeah, we do have some... So it's a single buffalo. God damn it. I hope I don't shoot anybody down. Thank God it's with ammunition. Thank God for that. Oof. I would not have wanted to lose anything there. We do actually see a buffalo damage there. We see an allied bomber there damaged as well. 3 allied aircraft damaged. 1 allied fighter destroyed. 2 allied aircraft damaged. This is looking really quite promising. Another 1 damage there. 3 more damage supposedly. Okay. Wow. Yeah, so damage... God, I can't speak today. We damage a buffalo here. We destroy another one on the ground. We destroy another wildebeest on the ground. It's interesting. I do wonder how much of this is actually fog of war, also because these numbers are not the numbers that are reported during the actual combat resolution. But it's good. It seems to be having a great impact. We do see another buffalo over here, once again. This one actually does have ammunition, which is not exactly great. We do manage to drive it away there with defensive fire. Right, its engine's cutting out. Thankfully, we do make it through there. Damn, Nigel forgot to load me up. Yeah, pull the actual canopy back and bring out the pistol. Okay, so not much there. The issue is when you're attempting to bomb something, this is something I've been told, is if a fighter actually does intercept the bombers, it reduces their efficiency, reduces their effectiveness, supposedly. So the best kind of bomber range are the ones that are unopposed, really. Like this one. Hopefully this one will do better. But again, it's good to see that we are getting multiple hits in on the runways. Yeah, continuing to damage aircraft on the ground as well. So we can see that we do damage a Catalina. We damage another wildebeest over there, which is nice. The good news is, ideally when we do take Singapore, all these aircraft that can't escape will actually go down. Will be destroyed by the actual army forces there. So we do see the Blenheims. That's unfortunate that they actually do make it through, but they're actually trying to engage the heavy cruiser Maya. So not exactly a great thing there. So 2 of those guys are damaged. Yeah, I think there's about 150 odd bombers, maybe 180 bombers in total. I've been running them quite hard. I do need to actually start to rest them. The reason why I've been running them hard is I want to get as much impact against him just as much as possible, really. So we do have additional Kates. Yep, we do land a bomb into the Tan 1 over here, which is nice. He will have more tankers than oilers. Okay, 1 hit. But that's fine. She's on fire, makes it easier to actually discover, which is okay. Yeah, the B5s are not exactly great dive bombers, really. They're not exactly great conventional bombers. Obviously, they are significantly better with the torpedoes, but they'll still do a good job. I can't believe it. Wow. Wow, okay, so we've actually made it through there without being hit by the cows once again, which is fantastic news. We are burning fuel, but he's also burning fuel. We're still on his ass. The Knibatai is close. I'm going to be really interested to see how this actually looks in the actual resolve phase, really, just when it's all been done. As we are attacking over here at a low star, so you can see that he has a good deal of forces here with the 6th and the 15th Indian Brigade. I'm hoping that we will be able to destroy them. They are cut off from any other allied base in the area, so hopefully this will be enough to force them to surrender. They probably will not give on the first attack, probably will take a decent amount there to break them, but it can and will be done. Again, these are forces that could have been heading south, so thankfully they did not. The terrain, if I recall correctly, is ×2. I think it's... Oh no, it might even be worse than that. I can't recall exactly how bad it is, but I think it's actually pretty nasty terrain. The infantry regiments are looking okay. Reduce fortifications to 0. 219, 79. Looks like a victory there. We capture a low star. Do they surrender? They surrender. 6 Indian Brigade surrenders. 15th Indian Brigade surrenders. 109th RAF base. And the Field Regiment surrenders. That is a true victory there today. Oh, that's excellent news. So for 515 casualties, we take 2 squad losses, we have 25 disabled. That was a really nice victory there. Indeed, Banzai, that's really, really good there. 6 disabled, 14, 1 destroyed, 2 vehicles lost there, 1 destroyed, 1 disabled. But look at that. Yeah, that is great. I mean, this is the beautiful thing here. Somebody forgot to act. Yeah, no, I should actually go through that. I've been a little bit reticent to actually assign too many commanders because I don't want to be like spending too many political points, but that worked out fine there. Another reason why they had surrendered is because obviously we do have control over every base in the area. He has nowhere he can retreat to, which is really quite nice. But again, we see 5,633 squads there, sorry, casualties there, which is good news. But that's brilliant. That is a really nice victory. It takes a low star, which opens up the rail line over here. So we do take Malacca and Kuala Lumpur. Of course, typing over here as well, we will have control of the rail line. We will have an attack over here as well, just outside Temla, so ideally that goes well. Right, okay. I didn't on that one. I do on occasion on more important attacks, but that one I did forget about. But that was a nice victory there. So our attack in here is into the nasty jungles against the 22nd Indian Brigade, but we need to chase them and continue to move in until we do secure Temla. There's another unit over here. Okay, they're retreating, which is not too surprising. Right, okay, so 216 versus 56 there. So we suffered 96 casualties, 2 destroyed, 14 disabled. We inflict 798 casualties, 26 over here, 11, 46, 4, 1, 7 guns, so 2 destroyed, 5 disabled, 6 vehicles, 2 destroyed, 4 disabled. That's a great result there. That's really good news. So this is a good thing. We can continue to follow them up here to Temla. And again, once we do take Temla and clear that unit out of the area. The good news is that unit may actually surrender when this base over here at Temla has been taken as well, which is really good news. So that would actually give us control of the rail line down here. And then once we actually do control Malacca, I could actually move forces directly from Kota Bru down here to Johor Bahru in the near future. So we will be attacking here at Johor Bahru today as well. There we go, the Battle of the South. So we do actually see the additional forces arrive. They're not going to be in the correct mode. Ideally, they don't take tremendous casualties or anything like that. But yeah, we do have the Tank Regiment and the 4th Division here alongside the 33rd. We do capture Johor Bahru. Ideally, we inflict a lot of damage there. The other formations were not in combat mode. They were in movement mode, so we'll have to see how much of a difference that makes. But we do see that we take Johor Bahru and we force him back across the actual causeway there to Singapore. I'm hoping that they will have had to leave behind those guns, so we'll see how that turned out. He loses a Winaway over here. So we suffered 299 casualties to 941, so just actual disabled. Oh, that's a good result there. We inflict 2,355 casualties. That is very nice there. Yeah, I appreciate that paradigm. But he's done nothing in Malaya. He's essentially allowed this to happen. And this is not my work, really. This is Dadman just allowing this to happen, really. That is all Dadman. I'm not going to say I can't really take credit for this one due to the fact that he hasn't really been moving his forces. He could have made things more difficult for us, but he hasn't. It seems to be the same way in Luzon. I'm going to take that. I'm going to absolutely take that little bit of a mercy there. He's a very good player. We'll see. I think he could have made things worse. But there we go. So we have 2,355 casualties, 66 destroyed, 7 disabled, 201 destroyed, 2 disabled, and 22 engineers, 0 disabled, obviously because they're all dead, it seems. 42 guns lost. That's going to be a big one there. Vehicles gone there as well, which is really nice. Okay. Yeah, this is good. I mean, we inflicted, what was it, about 600 or 800 casualties the day before, which is really good news. But that's brilliant, so we can see that we have the 33rd, we have the 4th, and we have the 4th tank, and this tank regiment in position here to now move on to Singapore if we so wish to do so. We're attacking over here. The good news is all these forces actually will survive in the area. I actually do have a oiler over here as well at Tulagi, so that's actually really handy. I'm really glad that survived. I can't believe we've made it through so many days without him savaging us with his air power. To be fair, in the Dutch East Indies he has resisted us, but in Malaya and Luzon, he's been hands-off, which I really appreciate. There's no formal agreement there, but yeah. I think there's about 250 AV that begins at Singapore. It looks like he's obviously going to have significantly less there. Yeah, no, right, I know. I mean, that's it there, I know. The thing is, I had not realised at that point, really, the difference between roads, the types of roads, and obviously the fact that you can just move by sea. But I'm quite happy there. Yep, we haven't lost one, which is fantastic. We do have the Imperial Guard Division. I think I might, in fact, actually send it south. It does actually mean that we have the time to rest. The Imperial Guard Division will be 2 days north, which would mean it would arrive... Is it the 23rd today? We'd arrive on the 25th, and so we'd arrive on Christmas Day at Johor Bahru. Then we'd cross the causeway and attack Singapore on the 27th, I believe. Actually, well, yeah, we could move movement mode the first day and then combat mode the day after and arrive. That was a really nice turn. Yeah, I know, right, 80. Oh, wow. I don't think he's used them up. I really don't think he's used them up. But you can see that just the amount of actual assets that we do have in the area. They're going to obviously continue moving south. Yeah, so we'll see then. Is there any damage? You can see that we are taking system damage here. Now, that could, of course, be due to the full-speed maneuver. We do have a sub over here that has actually been spotted as well. That's quite nice. We actually have a sub nearby. So we have Tatsuta, we have the Isagaki over here, which is an actual escort, which is quite interesting. Okay, so our other cruisers, the Kishima, Arakaze, Tenru, Asanagi. A little bit of cleanup here. We don't have the assets that oh, hello. Those are likely the heavy cruisers there. And that's likely the two heavy cruisers that we saw down this area. If I recall, was it Portland and Louisville? But the good news is the AO has arrived over here. They actually are unloading, which is not great, so I told them to actually auto-disband. It seems that I forgot to tell them, do not unload. I would assume that this would have actually taken priority. But the good news is I'm going to disband that for the time being. These H6Ks are paying off. We can see, obviously, that the targets are over here. We will have, yeah, you can see that, obviously, all the forces are here still. It is interesting. I do wonder what he will do. You can see that we do have the Kitapatai, which is now detected as well. How far away is the Kitapatai? The Kitapatai is 23 hexes. We've been finding it so difficult to try and catch up to him. It looks like he actually pulled off a cruise move there, which is an interesting one, but he's continuously using fuel, which is a good thing. It looks like he's heading this way. Okay. Now, the interesting thing is we're not going to be moving the Kitapatai directly to him, really. I mean, we'll be likely heading more so this way. We're not that far away, and he knows that. He knows where the Kitapatai is as well, so I don't think he's going to be remaining here in a position terribly long as well. But we'll take a look around the area then. So we do see 4 ships over here, which is an interesting one. We have had reports of aircraft around this area. It might be potentially, I mean, it said float plane. It could have been potentially just patrolcraft from Wake and Midway. But I'm not entirely sure. I do have the actual destroyers moving out this way. We were able to recover them, which is really good news. Right, you can actually return to Jalamet as well. Get the hell out of there. Especially with destroyers out here. We do need to get our asses in gear. He may actually move out this way to try and intercept them. How much fuel do you have in the Kitapatai? I'm not really... We have enough fuel for the time being. And the thing is, I could always potentially draw fuel from the battleships and move south. But I don't think it's worthwhile moving at full. You can see obviously the damage we did take from moving at full in those previous turns. We'll see. He may move out at full speed. It's not determined as of yet. Yeah, sure, I'll take a look at the actual aircraft losses. It seems to have been a good day today. So we do have 6 demons destroyed there in air-to-air. We do have 4 wildebeests actually destroyed on the ground. We do lose 3 Kates there. We have 3 Zeros lost as well. So 2 of those in air-to-air, 1 in ops losses, which is not too surprising, really. I mean, he has put up stiff resistance. He's doing it at very high altitude, which is not great. We do see that Flak takes 2 of our Lilies, which is not too surprising. We saw that. 2 of our Jakes were actually shot down in air-to-air, which I think were Jakes positioned over here at Rabal, actually. He loses 2 Dauntlesses, actually, to ops losses, which is a good thing there. That's actually quite nice. I'm glad he's actually losing carrier planes as well. We see some B339s. Hawks go down as well. We lose an Oscar, Sally, CM, B5 and 1 Winaway goes down there. He loses another Buffalo and a PBY 5 Catalina, which is good news. Okay. You can see he's lost a lot of Buffaloes there. So 102 Buffaloes lost. If I take a look at the actual totals here. Oh, is it lost in Batavian? Okay, that's good to know. It might have actually been from one of the heavy cruisers out that way. So we can see that we have... Oh, it may be out from MKB. You'd have to take a look at that. So we can see, obviously, that Buffaloes here, 102, have been lost. 53 Hudsons. 37 Warhawks. I've not gone tremendously heavy against his Warhawks. I may come to regret that later on in the future there, really. But as far as it went, it did allow me, because he moved his actual B-17s and his actual bombers out of Luzon, it meant I could move my fighters out of Luzon as well, for the most part, the Zeros that is. Now, it did mean that we only had like the occasional sweep against his actual Warhawks, but even last turn he was moving additional fighters out of actual Luzon there as well. The reason for that is as we were moving south, taking more bases in the Dutch East Indies, he was finding himself with less and less room to actually retreat his aircraft to. Yeah, true, but it's one of those paradigm. I would have liked to have taken them. It would have been nice to have actually removed them from play. You can see that we have passed, yeah, so we're at 30 zeros lost there, which is not that many. And this is over quite a number of days, actually, so we've not lost a tremendous amount, which is quite nice. A lot of those. So we did have 19 shot down. 11 of those were lost due to ops. But yeah, there's so many saves there. And with the Buffalo, you see there, 31 lost to operations. I mean, this is the thing as well, also because we are hitting the airfields as well, causing him damage, also they're taking damage. They might survive the actual initial fight, but then they might not even make it home, really. I'll see you later, John. Have a good one, my friend. But yeah, it's looking pretty good so far. I'm quite happy with that, then. I'm really happy with the results over here. I mean, we have Tatsuta and the Ishigaki, which is not exactly a tremendous threat. But I'll take it. You know, it's kind of interesting that, let's see, so these patrol patterns obviously were altered. We did alter that before the end there, but that's not too bad. As far as it goes, I mean, if we take a look over here, they're 6 hexes away. I could potentially move outside of range with most assets. I think the likelihood for him now is he just pulls out of the area. He knows that there's obviously a lot in this area that can cause him problems. The Kubutai is actually closing in. He has actually allowed us to somewhat cut the corner there. But we'll have to see how that one works out. It's a shame that we don't have fuel at Tanawan or something of that nature. Who is for using anything near the carrier at full speed? Well, the issue with full speed is it's all well and good, but if we're not actually directly by the carriers, we're not likely to catch him. Weather is thunderstorms over here, thunderstorms out this way as well, thunderstorms in quite a lot of these locations over here. I do, yeah, so he's got the detection from the Wake Island PBYs, I'd imagine. Yeah, which is unfortunate due to the fact that a lot of these other aircraft were not detected. The battleships are not detected, but Kitabatai is. But that's fine. If there is potentially a third carrier out in this area to the north, I'm glad that might actually say to him, okay, I don't really want to get in on that. But we'll see then. But we did have a good day in Malaya. Very good day in Malaya. Very good day. If we don't use the ships near him... Well, the thing is, if we use a ship near him and they don't actually reach, then they are essentially just cannon fodder. The ships that are right by him have a chance, but the ships that are not close by, i.e. 1 hex away, you can imagine the actual Lexington-class carrier. When she's not damaged, she makes about 33 knots at maximum, which is fast. We don't have much that is that fast. We do have ships that can make that sort of speed. But even then, if he's beginning at 33 knots from the word go, he's going to be moving out there pretty quick. Dadman has given you then a period of historical grace to make up for your difference in skill level. I don't know if he is doing that intentionally. Well, he's obviously doing something intentionally here. You can use the AO in 2 logs to refuel the Kitabatai. Yeah, which is really quite... I'm really quite glad when he actually survived there. He'll continue south, so you can move the AO. Yeah, that'd be nice there. We'll definitely take a look at that. We'll go through the rest of turn and obviously make a few... orders, but just in general get an idea of the situation. But it was a good turn, really good turn there. Can you show us the ship losses? Yes, I will. I've got to get into the habit of just doing that immediately, really. I know people like to see that. So we take a look at last turn then. So we did sink the Van Gent, which is nice. We did sink the Mareso, however it's pronounced. It is listed the actual Dutch submarine over here, which I don't think is right. There's another submarine over here. We do see subs over here as well. It looks like these guys are retiring as well, which is quite good. At least they are moving out of the area. Well, either way, we did cause some problems with actual torpedo tubes on the actual Dutch sub, so I'd imagine it probably isn't feeling too good right now. Marisso, yeah, Euro L cargo class. She's a big boy. She's a fast and big boy there. 7,580 tons of capacity there. That's a nice one to take out. Would you have been in striking distance? You would have bombed. Well, this is it really. Had we been within striking distance, then Well, with the settings he had, but then again, he wouldn't have had those settings had he known that Kiribatai was within striking distance. But let's go for the hypothetical scenario that obviously it was like this, but we were within striking distance. We would have not had a strike against us, but I imagine he's running a high level of cap. So it would be a difficult case. We'd have to obviously get through that cap, but we would have probably got through that. I would be quite sure of that. But at least then we would not have received a couch strike. Honestly, the one thing I really hate about this game is that you can set up automatic. Oh, you can't. Yeah, you can do it automatically, as Paradigm says there. I've never used it, and I've just kind of got used to just using it, so I just do now. Changing the sub-commander seems to be given for their player. Yeah, it absolutely is amazing. I think we'll do the same as well, if we actually have the ability to change them to somebody superior. But yeah, you can definitely see the amount of damage it's actually incurred on us. It's been rather fearsome. Okay, so we do have our forces out here moving now. They do have a decent chunk of fatigue and disruption. Ideally, they might be able to drop some of that. We do have a base out here at Lahad, so I could potentially take that and rest, and then move on, perhaps. It is rough terrain out there at Benkolen, but then we could just continue to move out there. Yeah, this is the automatic convoy system. I've never used it. You have to have ships in Osaka, Kyoto, to make use of it. I've never used it, so I don't know exactly how it works, so don't quote me on anything on this one. If somebody does have any experience, if you do want to actually give Mr. AWMW an idea about it, then that would be pretty cool. Right, okay. When you have 10 targets, the Naval Strike does not throw out 10 strikes, it sends out... Yep, exactly. Like I said over here with the MKB, we did have a few targets out here. They do appear to be moving out this way as well, but we are going to be splitting the MKB in half this turn, and then having a half it move out this way and another half move out this way. We do see targets over here, cruiser mine layer, which is interesting. There were more targets out of here. It's actually rather surprising that we don't have much information out of this area. Might be a bad weather day. Oh, it's the 24th today. Okay, so we're... Right, okay. Yeah, bad weather in the area today. Okay. Vibe on the forum is it's really bad and efficient, yeah. But I'm really glad we take Johor Bahru today, which is excellent news. Yeah, you can see these guys are in movement mode. Had they been in a combat mode, then I imagine they would have actually been able to inflict significantly more damage. Right, okay. So, what we can do here then is, we do have a few options. I mean, this is brilliant. Oh, look at that. So we do capture... I don't know if all of that has moved in today, but there's about 7,000 units of supply here. Some fuel over here as well. I don't imagine all of that's moved into... Well, most of that's moved in today. I imagine most of that is already ours. The issue down here is supply. It might be worthwhile to actually take the Imperial Guard Division, march it to Johor Bahru, which should take 2 days. It would give us 2 days to rest there. I mean, I'm all for attacking Singapore as quickly as possible. I think it probably is worthwhile to wait for the 3rd Division just to make it all go. I could potentially send a tank division to the north to hold this hex down, perhaps. That might be something to consider, or even potentially a detachment. Maybe use a detachment of the division, or even one detachment from the division. I think we'll have to think on this one. We've got 900 AV, 905 AV, which is very good. There's another chunk of the 4th Division to arrive. That's going to take some number of days there. It's 43 AV. Yeah, and it's made 15 miles. It's going to take some time to arrive, really. It might just be worthwhile to wait the actual Imperial Guard Division. I do have some artillery as well. I mean, that would definitely... Yeah, okay. I suppose it's one of these, isn't it? We could wait 2 days, which would take us to the 26th of December. Then we'd cross, and we'd actually fight the battle on the 28th of December. So that's not too bad. We'll still take it before the December deadline, really. But we'll definitely take it with the Imperial Guard Division as well. A little bit of artillery there, too, is never a bad thing. That's plotting for Lingayen. Well, planning for Lingayen, so I should actually change that to Singapore, really. Yeah, they've got a good amount of preparation there for Singapore. It does actually allow us to bring the headquarters down here as well, so I think it might be worthwhile just to hold off. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, see, the issue is I want to get them to Johor Bahru. It might be worthwhile to bring in air transport to actually shift them down here, but I don't have the aviation support. So we are going to have to move them. It might... I'd like to wait for the actual HQ support. But if we do have a 3rd Division there, I don't think we'd need it. Obviously, it would help us out, but I think a 3rd Division would just be enough brute force to take it. So we'll see there. Yeah, that HQ was planning for Johor Bahru. I did change it. It did previously have planning for Singapore, but we'll see there. If you bring like 1200 AV, you should get it in the first attack. Yeah, well, this is it. I'd like to take it before December's end because it would just be nice just to have that. We don't have to rush it, I suppose you could say. But sooner the better, really. I do want to get moving down here on Java and secure Java before the end of January. So we can see that we have 38 damage on the airfield now. So he has some sort of cap over here, but we haven't seen it tremendously reinforced, which is a good thing. Over here at Batavia, we're seeing 12 fighters, 40 bombers over there. Yeah, plenty of motor gunboats there. LST is really interesting. That can't be an LST. I don't think he actually has any LSTs at this moment in time. Yeah, I mean, this is it. I don't think he would have got much. He might have a level 2 port. Level 2 qualification, maybe level 3 at absolute most. I think level 3 might be beyond him. We did start bombing him. Yeah, he might have. He's likely going to have level 2 at most, I think. Which would crumble pretty quickly. But yeah, we have these forces in position now. So I think it's worthwhile to wait. It gives us the opportunity to rest them and recuperate some actual fatigue and disruption here. It looks like the rest of the tank regiment is on the way. Or is that the entire tank regiment? That TOE seems a little bit off. But apparently that is that. Okay. Right, I do have my DMSs over here to actually go out and sweep Singapore of mines, which is good. Looking forward to doing that. I will want to have some actual surface ships around here as well, but I do not want to have them on reaction. But it would be worthwhile to have some surface ships around this area to secure this. And the good news is we do have a good number over here at Palembang. We have a good number over here at Mersing as well. Obviously, there's no actual surface ships over here, and I do want to be somewhat careful about that, because we do have 2 oilers over here. What I'm going to be looking towards doing as well is actually brute forcing the oilers into the Indian Ocean, which would give us the long legs there with the MKB. But no, everything's going really well so far. It's going really well. So we didn't see him actually attack over here in Lucina, which is good news. There's still some shipping out here. Right. I would like to get these guys the hell out of Dodge first before actually attacking there then. I don't think it would matter, but I'd like to get them out. But then again, they'll move and... Yeah. Okay, no, we launched the attack because they're going to be moving anyway. So we'll move... Yeah, there we go. Yeah, this was the unit I was talking about. So I thought I had 600 infantry. No, it's 600 men-ish in total there. It's not a major unit, but it's still 21 assault value. It's still something that we can actually use. They'll take control of these bases down here, which is great because that actually gives us a rail line over here, which means that this unit actually can remain in place for all intents and purposes. So what I can actually do is actually have it begin to march over here to Mauban. Mauban? And at least that actually will help to take bases that are possibly ungarrisoned as well, which is quite handy. Let's see how Dadman will act when you start getting creative your conquests with THG. Well, this is it. I mean, we do have a position in place by New Caledonia. We secured Comac quite early on in the actual campaign as well. It's essentially starved at this point. There's only a tiny amount of supply, but it does give us an actual toehold there. If I actually do want to land something, at least we do have the means to do so. These are going to be likely the 2 heavy cruisers over here, which is... To be honest, what he's doing here really makes me think. He might have been fearful of Rabal, which would make sense, because obviously I might have actually had a air HQ there that could have actually flown attack planes against him. I don't think he's got a huge amount of fuel. Right, we do see actual ships over here at Port Moresby. He might be evacuating Port Moresby. He might be reinforcing Port Moresby. Not sure which one it is at this moment in time. Right, the good news is, though, this area is safer, which is nice. It is safer. I do have a surface force over here as well, which is something I can make use of. Yeah, so we do have these guys over here. They have been refueled as well, which is a good thing. I'm going to initially set them to head down this way. Obviously, I'm going to link it to head towards the actual Kiribatai, but if I say send them that way for the time being... Right, take the direct path. Then they can actually act as additional floating tankers there, really. Tankers in general, whatever you want to call it, oilers. Underway replenishment. Okay, so we do have these ships out here. Yeah, they're both very fast, which is good. Besides these guys, but that's not too bad. Let's see. So that's a base force over here. What it might be worthwhile doing then is actually putting down a aviation unit in the area. I don't think it'd be worthwhile actually putting down an entire base force, but it's something that we can bear in mind as a possibility. Run a base in the middle of nowhere. This rifle belongs to the Empire of Japan. Yeah, this is free real estate. But no, this turn's gone really well, actually. It's gone remarkably well. It feels almost quiet from how well it's actually gone, which is a good thing. Quite happy about that. We destroyed one of the actual Dutch destroyers. We do know where the other ones are. It's a shame that we didn't get a hit on the second one, but at least we actually know where they are. Hopefully we force them to use even more fuel. I imagine he might have been able to pick up some fuel from the actual base, but then again, he's not going to have a huge amount, and the question is, well, where does he go now? Okay. See, taking Gazmata would be quite good. I don't think Gazmata actually has has any sort of garrison to begin with. What we could potentially do then is land over here at Buna and Gazmata, perhaps. I'm going to have them set to land at Gazmata to begin with. Gazmata is obviously going to be an important one, which we'll need. Base forces are interesting. I don't know if I will send a base force, but they do come with some actual SLF, which is good. They actually have a decent chunk of SLF. They have the AA there. Naval support, aviation support. They're quite good units. They might be better off actually in Rabaul, to be honest. Maybe one at Ley, maybe one at Rabaul, maybe. I'm really happy that we didn't actually lose anything. I'm not gonna lie. It feels really good. It feels really good. I can't wait for this situation to end. And there's still a possibility that we may see a decisive battle. We'll see there. We will see. Okay, my heavy cruisers aren't where I thought they would be. But they are down here, which is a good thing. There is actually a slight amount of fuel over here at Kopang. I can also take fuel from the actual ships over here as well, which is quite good. I think what we'd want to do then is move towards Darwin. He may have aircraft out here, but that's going to be the likelihood, well, the likely position which you'll run to there. Can you show Haruna? Yeah, sure, she's out over this way. So I do have my Oilers over there. We do have the heavy cruiser force. The Oilers, okay, they're there. Right, okay, so I can have them link up. So we do have Haruna out here with an own little task force there, of a few destroyers. We do have the heavy cruiser over here, the Ashigara, 3 more destroyers there as well. So what we might look towards doing then is actually making this our surface force, so that would be then potentially useful against Wake Island. It might be potentially worthwhile to go ahead and bombard Wake Island and render that airfield essentially neutralized. We did see previously more ships in this area, but I've not seen them since. I don't have actual intelligence over Wake right now. These guys are still running extended search, which is going to be up in that fatigue there. Yeah, I can see these guys are going to be out for a long while. I'm going to have to probably just go ahead and move more aviation support out there. What I'm going to do then is actually reduce that down to 50-50 for the time being. I'd like to potentially keep them operating at that sort of level. We do have a destroyers and patrol boats moving out this way as well, so we've been able to actually rescue our patrol boats and destroyers, which is nice, while the destroyers, which is a good thing. Okay. Right, so we'll have them both head to Johor Bahru then. That's fine. It gives us another 400 AV, it turns that 900 into 1300. It gives us some additional guns as well, which is nice. I mean, we could probably take it. I would like to actually rest these troops beforehand, though. Yeah, then another 43 over here that would arrive. Well, actually, this is it then. So, these guys are going to take 2 days. Those guys are going to take 4 days. So, by the time that we have the Imperial Guard Division here, and we begin to move across into Singapore, we'll have the 4th Division link up with the rest of its actual unit there and be fully ready to move out. I think what I will do is actually move out one of the tank regiments, or if not both of the tank regiments to the north, just to ensure that we do not lose this hex over here. I do have this road. This road actually belongs to me now, but it's only a secondary road. I don't have a huge amount of supply, so we've got to make sure, I suppose, that when we do cross to Singapore, we make it work. The good news is, however, over here at Mersing, we do have more supply actually in port that I can begin to unload. What I have been doing is actually... Yeah, okay, so we're still unloading elements of the 4th Division here. You're too big to go into port, unfortunately. So it's just, yeah, 8 support squads. They'll be able to unload into there because these guys haven't left yet. And that's fine, then. Yeah, so we got unloaded supply over here. So you're docked right now. Well, you can be docked. We will have to refuel these fellows. Okay, so they're going to be moving out in a short time. Then they're going to move to Kuantan. How heavy are you? You are 3425. I don't think I could get another ship in there. This is a size 1 port. But we'll have you dock. So what I'll do then is, once the other ships do leave and we are secure from the air here, so we did see an attack actually out at Mersing, then I can actually have all of the actual ships unload. I could potentially do that now. Might be worthwhile. But if it's safer to unload by a dock, it is and it isn't. Size 1 port, so it doesn't really matter. I think what I'll be better off doing then is just unloading. There's only 96 men to unload, so it's not going to take long at all, really. It does mean, well, I can have you docked up and remain docked up. Let's see. I've got 2 destroyers over here, then. What I can do is actually turn this into a cargo task force, and then at least I actually do have something on standby here. So they're still set to absolute. They're on a patrol right now, we're not going to cancel that. So what I can do here then, sort by supply. You can see there's actually supply and some fuel as well, which is alright. We do have a torpedo boat, might as well put the torpedo boat in here. It gives us a nice little escort then, just in case. Not very real particularly matters, there's a lot of ships actually in the area. But yeah, we'll have you unload. So that's 8,000 supply. Sorry, 7,534. There's another 1,000 odd here. That's good. Yeah, Port Moresby is going to be coming up next. I do need to actually assemble forces. I do have forces moving out that way as well, actually. We'll be able to assemble a good few Naval Guard units. It's going to be an interesting one because obviously the carriers may be moving into this area, but if we do have the Kidapatide to potentially back us up if needs be, we could manage it. It would be great if we actually had some reconnaissance out here, but we'll have to see. Now, Leh is being built up. Let's see. So we are at a size. You know what? I was thinking of the other game and expecting this to be more built up than it actually is, but yeah, we've only just arrived over here. I think we've really just had the engineers here about a day. So they're 9% into the actual building of the airfield here. Ideally, it doesn't take us too long, but we'll be good there. Okay. No, it'll not take as long to build that airfield up. When we do that, then we can actually start making full use of the area. I do actually have, and see the funny thing is I did unload the naval headquarters over here at Saipan thinking he might have actually contemplated moving north. But that's fine, I can actually have it shipped out of here, moved out of here really. Yeah. But you can see obviously with that headquarters there, it does actually give us the ability to use torpedoes, which is really great. I'm really, really happy about that. So, you're at Marcus Island, Malawap, Saipan. I don't really want to send them to then again, I suppose I do want to send them to Marcus Island. You're pretty much fresh. I'll send you out to Marcus Island. And we'll be pulling them out from Marcus Island in the near future, really. Or even, it might be worthwhile to put more aviation support onto Marcus Island. It does take on a new role here, really. Right, additional 2 destroyers over there. Yeah, maybe we do put something out that way. I don't really have anything particularly spare at the moment. But, okay. Well, it gives us something to think about, something to ponder. We're not too far away from a level 4 airfield, which is fine. Obviously, I'm not gonna span past level 4, really. There's not a tremendous amount of reason to do so. But let's take a look. So, yep, over here, the divisions have arrived. 21st. Where's the second? I wonder if the second's been slowed by... It looks like the second's been slowed down. Yeah, another... Yeah, there we go. That makes sense. That's actually confirmed something as well, actually. They will arrive next turn, but they did have another fragment of the second division actually fall into them. 90 prep on Singapore. Ugh, incredible. It's nice to actually have a second division available for us. While his carriers are south, any chance to take in Midway before it becomes a fortress and submarine base? Midway is There's still another carrier out there, potentially, which is something that we do have to take into consideration. I think we take Wake and then we'll take it one step at a time there, really. We'll see how the situation goes. It's still very volatile at this moment in time. But it looks like we have come through the worst of it, really. Okay. So these guys will be heading south. I'm going to change their planning for Bataan. There we go. That's still 30 planning, which is still pretty good there. But yeah, we can see that we have the additional forces here. I've got 14th Army here. I'm going to put them into movement mode. I don't think it particularly matters, actually, considering the fact that they're not planning for Bataan. Well, they're planning for Bataan. I don't really want to change it for just this base over here, considering the amount of AV we do have. We will take that base. I've got them in combat mode just in case. I do have the engineer over here. I don't think they can actually get involved in combat. No, I don't think they do. I'd have to double check, but I don't think they get involved in combat. But either way, these are the units we want to be using. I do have another 3 independent engineer regiments on the way over here to Luzon. They're only a few days out at this point as well, which is great news. And they're not the best ones, because that's a lot of engineers, which is all well and good, and it's nice to have the vehicles. It's the IJ engineering squads that we really want, but if we had 48 of these guys and 12 of these guys, that'd be a hell of a lot better. Well, you don't get many of those, and most of them are needed to actually form a division, if not all of them are needed to form a division. I didn't even know about the planning features. Yeah, I know, right, yeah. Yeah, I know, right. It's a good one to have. Okay. And the 38th Division is unloading over here. There we go. So we're going to have them also planned for Bataan. So there we go, guys. We actually have now the 2nd Division, the 21st Division, the 38th Division. What's the name of the other division? 38th, 21st. 2nd, 21st, 48th. Yeah, 38th, 2nd, 21st and 48th Division. So that's 4 divisions on the island now, Luzon. We also have the 65th Brigade over here as well. So what we're going to be doing then is we'll secure Lingayen tomorrow quite easily. I can't see there being anywhere near enough resistance. Ideally, we can sweep down here to Clark. I mean, Clark will fall pretty quickly to that amount of assault value, especially when it's combined with the potential for the 65th to move into here. It may be that we move the 65th to Manila to try and actually hold his forces in place. That is a potential idea. But either way, that will come tomorrow. They're going to remain in position for the time being. It might be worthwhile just to have them rest for the time being, actually. There's no damage to them. Well, there's no danger to them. And yeah, you can see over here, you can see that there's 7 auxiliaries. There's still 12 fighters out this way. 7 auxiliaries. He's moved them all out, really. He's moved his aircraft out. The interesting thing is he hasn't, as far as I can tell, I don't know, he might have moved them out here to Java. It doesn't look that way. There's a decent amount over here. We see 3 over here. I think that's the first day. I don't know if that's the first day I've been running reconnaissance of this base. I don't think it is. But we do see some aircraft there. They're likely heading south. They're likely probably at Ambon, where they could actually cause us problems. And in fairness, at Ambon, what I might want to actually do is move the K-48s down north, from the north, down south towards Kendari, actually. That would be quite good to do. I do have my assets over here at Manado that I can actually move south. Yeah. Right, we're continuing to unload fuel over here at Babardwa, which is good. It's taken us up there, so we're up to 19,000 units now. That's good. And these guys really were surplus to requirement, really. And we could potentially move them out elsewhere as well. We do have a supply convoy moving in here as well, which is good news. That's excellent. Possibly to Mindanao. Possibly to Mindanao. There are other bases over here. The thing that actually does matter is how much actual aviation support he has. He could still move them to bases that still have an airfield, but the thing is, if they don't have aviation support, any aircraft that are damaged are going to be stuck there pretty much a long time, and are pretty likely to be destroyed. But that's fine. We are catching up on him in the Dutch East Indies. The end is really not far away now, which is really good news. We've made a lot of progress here in the Dutch East Indies. It's really great news. Really happy with it. It could have gone better. I could have got more supply to Sinkwang sooner, and then that would have meant we would have had torpedo bombers actually out here. But who knows, it could have changed things. It could have potentially resulted in more bombers being destroyed. It would have probably led to more ships being destroyed, but then again, we are able to close in on them. Yeah, still ships there. We're moving down south as well. We should actually have a regiment in place over here. Yep, we've got the 144th Regiment now. That's a lot of disruption, but what I'll do then... They are going to be the ones that actually help form the 55th as well. So what I'll have to do then is obviously move this back towards Malaya to form the 55th in the near future. Okay. So we'll have them begin to move out towards Oosthaven. However the hell you pronounce it. They've got 100% planning for Guam, which is funny. I mean, this is the regiment that was historically meant to hit Guam. Right. We are repairing the actual facilities over here to Marie. Okay. Yeah, so we've repaired one point of the oil there. I think we need to find a way to seize the initiative with the Kiddibatai. Well, it's not a case of so much initiative, it's a case of it's just hard to catch somebody who's faster than you, really. But the way in which he's moved there, he's not that far away. He's allowing us to actually make up some more distance here. He could still always move through this area. It's entirely likely he could move through this area. It looks like he's moving south to link up with his forces over here. He may yet stick around in the area. It's an unknown at this moment in time. But we are closing in. He's likely going to be leaving the area. He knows where the Kiddibatai is. I imagine if he didn't know where the Kiddibatai is, he probably would have been even more likely to leave the area. But he's especially likely to leave the area now. It may be that he actually turns things around and actually goes ahead and possibly... I don't know. I don't think he'd actually go... He might launch a naval attack next turn. I wouldn't be surprised about that. There's a lot of targets around here, but there's not a lot of chaff, really. But even then, with these guys being in single individual task forces, it does make it hard for him. It'll be an interesting one there. Okay. But yeah, I do not for a second believe that's a BB. Those are likely the two heavy cruisers. Which, if it is the two heavy cruisers that were in the area, they might have been able to rearm. It's been a few days actually since they were around here at Tarawa, but I don't think he would actually have anything in the area that could immediately rearm. Would be something to double check. I do have supply heading south to Tarawa. I do need to actually get supply into Tarawa. But yeah, the bombardment at Tarawa, I expected he thought we might have had aircraft out here, but we didn't, which is a good thing. But it did no damage, which was really nice. We came out really, really quite rosy there, which is a good thing. Okay. I'm glad that we do have subs here. I did send the other subs this way just in case he actually did go north, but yeah, there we go. We can see south now. These guys might have a chance to intercept. Well, this guy might have a chance to intercept, but if he goes at full speed, he's got no chance in hell. So what would be likely better off doing is actually just heading this way, not heading to the carriers, but heading where they're likely going to head. But yeah, he's near the Solomon Islands. We don't really have air power here. If we had air power, it would have been great, but then again, he knows we don't have air power. This is it. It's the day before Christmas 1941. We're not prepared in that area. We've just had to conquer that area. We're nowhere near built up enough yet. But okay. If we take a look down here, then so we do have the artillery that's arrived. We're up to 901 assault value over here. Then we do have enough supply. It's complaining a little bit, but we do have enough supply here to actually attack, which is good news. Fatigue and disruptions light. Yep. Fatigue there. Okay. The good news is when they do attack, because there's more of them. I mean, I might switch that out for a superior commander, in fact. Well, see, this is a thing. We did try doing that in the north. We did have them set to actually night naval attack. It could be done. I would prefer to do it at night because then they have a greater chance of actually surviving it. In the day would be going up against a lot of cap, and that's the problem there. How much would this cost me? As we'll take a look at land. I think what you want is to have... then again, I should really reserve the best commanders for the ones in Singapore. So we'll take a look at this. He's still good. He's still pretty good, so he's still fine. Okay, that's fine. So what we'll do then, yeah, so we've got 53 planning there. We've got your plan for Rangoon. And we'll change that out to Bataan then. I could do like an overall command headquarters in Luzon. I might be able to get one moved out there soon enough, but we'll have to see. Hey there, G-Man. Good to have you, my friend. Okay, so we'll order the attack here against the actual Philippine division. We'll be able to overwhelm that with really no problems. I never actually intended to go this hard into Luzon. That's the funny thing as well. I was actually kind of thinking that we'd just go for the actual siege. But things have completely shifted, which is it's really cool, actually. I'm quite glad about it. Going well, my friend, going well. We've had a really good turn. The end of Luzon is going to be approaching very quickly. Right, so the 38th then. I could begin to have a move. There's no great rush. It might be the 38th Division that just heads to Iba, really. Iba's on a major road as well, so that's not too bad. It would mean that we'd actually be able to secure this base and not have it as a potential threat to our rear lines. Or we could just have it come... Well, just move up down this way. Yeah, feels looking at Japanese. No, I can imagine. I can imagine. But this is it. We're doing quite well here. So having secured Johor Bahru then, so we'll be moving over to... So we'll take Singapore then on, I'm going to say the 28th of December, possibly the 29th, but 28th is likely. So 25th, so these guys will be halfway down here to Johor Bahru on Christmas Day. 26th they'll be at Singapore, sorry, no, they'll be at Johor Bahru. We'll begin March on the 27th, which I think at that point, the rest of the 4th Division will arrive at Johor Bahru. Then on the 28th, we'll actually arrive and carry out the shock attack, which is great. I may have a tank regiment move north. I could do with more men down here, really. I think what we do is we move a tank regiment here to the north. I think we need to do that. Maybe even both tank regiments, perhaps, to make sure that we can actually hold that hex. I think it is quite... Or I could just leave a detachment to the Imperial Guard Division. 2 tank regiments there. And what is that terrain? Jungle. I think a detachment to the division is probably a wiser idea. I'm going to save the game here just in case I actually make any problems or make any mistakes there, really. Oh, thank you very much there to Susanna and Daniel for the actual Patreon backing. Thank you very much there, that's really appreciated. I'm going to have to actually, well, I'm going to have to add you to the list, and thank you so very much. Really appreciate all the support. The good news is the end is drawing near now for my deployment program, which is great. The last day that I have to hand in work is tomorrow, so I'm going to be handing in the last of my work, which is great news. And then I think after that, it's going to be pretty much done. So from that point, it's just going to be waiting for university there, really, which is going to be pretty cool. I'm tempted. There's a part of me that is tempted to actually, instead of doing Japanese history, actually do Japanese Korean. But I still do want to do history. But it is tempted to maybe consider a second language. But yeah, I think that'd probably be pretty hard. And there's only one allied unit in Malaya. Indeed. Okay, so we'll take a look actually at the reports over here then. Right. Interestingly enough, it didn't list all the actual TANs in the actual combat log, did it? But that was really nice that at a low start, taking out all those units and forcing them to surrender was a good victory. But then again, he has handed us the victory in Malaya. He really has not tried to fight against it, which is... I mean, this is it. I don't think it's been... I just think he gave it to us. He knew what he was doing. He's played this game enough. He knows what he's doing. And the victory there is good. Moving towards Temela is going to be great news. It'll be a few days before we do arrive at Temela, but it will mean that we will have the additional rail lines open, which is great news. It also gives us then the regiments the ability to move to the coastline and to actually go ahead and march on Taiping. Right, yeah, so 2-3-5-5 here is good. We really haven't lost that many squads, which is really nice. And this is it. We weren't affected actually negatively by the actual mode. Had they been in the combat mode, I imagine they would have actually inflicted so much more damage. Yeah. This unit though, the 1st HK and S Heavy AA Regiment. Those guys having to leave behind those guns in the 29th Battery 3rd HAA, the 30th Battery / 3rd HAA. Those guys leaving behind those AA guns is going to be quite good. That's brilliant. Okay. So what we'll do then is we'll have these guys rested for the time being. It does mean we'll be attacking Singapore later than I actually initially intended, but that's fine. It means that we'll actually be in a much stronger position to do so. The question comes down to, let's see. It's actually a smaller unit than I actually anticipated, didn't I? I don't know, I just expected more. It looks like we are missing a couple tanks, but they might not have actually arrived in the unit to begin with, really. Yeah, the Heavy A Regiment. God, you know what? I wish we could actually capture these guns and actually use these guns ourselves. That'd be brilliant news. But I imagine he wouldn't let these guns go without them being destroyed, really. Okay. So what we'll do then is... put them into rest mode. Right, there we go. Yeah. No, I'm jealous. I wish we had them. I wish we had them. So if we take a look over here then at the 4th Division. So obviously it's got the rest of its actual force to catch up there and join it, which is good. They're not far away. And they have indeed. But this is it. Made so many mistakes in the early days of the THG campaign, but I do in a lot of ways actually wish we could restart that game so I could actually put the new experience into practice, but hey, oh well. And this is it. This is what we're now capable of doing, and it's a shame that we don't get to do that against THG. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. But he's a good player. He was a lot better than me at the start. He probably still has a lot of experience. I'm not saying he's bad. I'm just saying I was really bad at the start. It's not about learning, really. But it's good to have you, G-Man. I do hope you are doing well. How is everybody doing today, then? How is it weather-wise and wherever you are? I know I've got a couple of Finns in here. I do usually have a Bordeaux gentleman. A Vulcan, aren't you from Turkey? You might be Turkish, or you might be from somewhere in Europe. I can't recall, actually. I know AT Parmentier is Belgian. Oh, so you can send me some Turkish delight, and AT can send me some chocolate. There we go. Bish bash bosh. But I do have to publicly praise a Vulcan here, guys. A Vulcan really, really nailed it. Absolutely nailed it regarding Palembang mines. The fact that we didn't take any losses to mines here at all was remarkable. So yeah, thank you very, very much there, Vulcan. That saved us a lot of potential problems. That was really nice. Sending Turkish delight from here to the UK will cost so much. But is it worth it? That's the question. Oh dear. I think I've only been to Turkey. I think it was once, actually. No, yeah, once. Right? But no, once. I think it was to an area called Mercia. Or Mercia. Southern Turkey, anyway. I'd have to double check that. But anyhow. Let's take a look over here, then. So we have had additional forces move into the area. Mersin. It might have been. It was definitely something with a mer. Right. How are we doing aviation support wise then? So we're up to 135 plus 21. So we're still under the amount of aviation support that is required. We will be moving additional aircraft out of this area actually shortly. Okay, yeah, they've had a good number there damaged. That fatigue's up there to 25. Okay. See, what I might do now is actually have the G4M1 Betty group, the Kanoya KUK1. I might have them actually move to the north over here. Actually, no, saying that I do have the G3s over here, so I do need supply. There is supply in the base, there's more supply, and that's a lot of fuel. Holy moly. Thank you so very much for that, man. That is really appreciated. She might overhear you. Thank you so very much, man. It's been great having you all these times. Don't tell your missus that. How much fuel did we capture at Hong Kong? At Hong Kong we did capture quite a decent amount. There's about, yeah, so 300, is that 390,000? 393,650. I don't know if that's how much actually begins then. It might have actually accumulated some fuel from elsewhere, but I'd have to check the tracker on that one, actually. Might be time to check the tracker, so we might take a look at that shortly. As we do have a 3rd Air Division moving into Bangkok, so they'll arrive tomorrow. That's taken longer than I would have hoped for, but that's fine. I do need a garrison here, that's my bad, but I do have engineers that are moving out that way. Yes, these guys are finally in position now. There we go. These fellows actually do have some aviation support, which is brilliant news. So I'll have 2 of those actual units move to the north there. Right, have them move out there. How much garrison do I need here? 10. I'll have to find some units to actually move in here. So I'll retain 2 of these units here then. Let's put them on rest and train for the time being then. These guys can actually be moved north. I'll do that, yeah. I don't know really how the Allied HQs look, to be honest. Right, question is, do I move that AA over here to Bangkok? Is it even worth moving to Bangkok? I don't think Bangkok... Well, actually, there's 33 fighters, 21 bombers over here. It might be that he's moving his air power from Luzon into Burma, perhaps. I think I'll have the AA actually move down here to go to Baru. Have him move down that way. There, okay. What I'll do then... oh, wow, that sucks. I'll move some additional aviation support into Bangkok. That's you. This one over here, then. It might be worth another one over here to Chiang Mai. It would be nice to potentially have one there, it's a size 2 airfield. And so I'll move that one over here, then I can actually march it into the interim base there. I do need to secure these bases over here in the near future. We're moving a unit up here to the north to actually deal with this British unit. Yokosuka 3rd SLF has arrived in position over here. And that's good then. And so we'll be looking to land at Port Blair shortly. Okay, so we are seeing a lot of actual troop transports over here, which is rather interesting. That is intriguing there. Now, we're looking at if the 3rd Air Headquarters arrives at Bangkok tomorrow. It is on a major road. It's March 23. So it'll arrive tomorrow then. So what we'll be able to do then, it might be that I actually move the G3s from Palembang to Bangkok. Which would give us a lot of actual reach out here with good numbers. We also have these guys out here at Victoria Point, which I could actually move to Bangkok as well. And right now they're acting as... reconnaissance, really. And that's cool. Okay. It's a shame that the Royal Thai Army headquarters over here is static. It does have a command radius of 5, which is sadly too far here. Ah, well. Right, so we're waiting the actual supply to move in here then. But we do have these guys in position. We may have to take a look at actually dropping them over here at Port Blair. I could probably pull that off. I would like to have some actual detection level over Port Blair, just to make sure we're not going in then against a potentially reinforced position, really. Okay, there's a couple of lilies out here. Kuantan, Bangkok. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. There's actually still one unit over here, then. Huh. And we do have our unit over here. Oh, fantastic timing there. Okay, so we'll attack once again. I was hoping that we could have actually moved in a little deeper there. It's still secondary roads. That's interesting, then. It means we get to attack a unit on its own. There's only 3 units over here at Temla. We do have that unit over here now, which is fine. Put them into combat mode. I'm not going to attack them now. Oh, there's a unit here as well. That's interesting, man. Yes, these guys are running naval search out to 18 hexes, which is probably the reason why we've been able to detect this unit. You can see that 18 is quite nice. Obviously 21 would be even better, which would be about that sort of distance there. Yeah, I know, right. I mean, that's going to be the good thing there. We do need Malacca as well, though. That's the only problem. Okay. I think we divide the unit here. Yeah, I'm going to run reconnaissance beforehand just so we get an idea. So I think what I will do then... We could potentially take Port Blair with vessel left airstream. I will be moving north of the actual Singapore Strait shortly. The Malaya Straits. Sumatra Straits, whatever you want to call it. Right, so let's take a look at that. I do need to retain a unit here. Now that would send... See, they've got the most amount of guns there, so I think I'll retain that one. And that's still going to send another 300 AV south. I don't think I can leave this hex unoccupied, ungarrisoned, really. So they can remain in position then. The other ones can actually continue to move south then. So that's the B and C detachment of the division. The artillery can continue to move south as well then. I could potentially begin marching on Malacca. I can't recall how much... I think there's only about 100 assault value in Malacca. Something to that sort of end there. Alright, okay. So how are our forces looking over here then? We do have a 2... Yeah, we have a tank regiment there, the first tank regiment. I think it actually forms a tank division, if I recall correctly. Yeah, the first tank division. So we have the elements of it out here then. Oh yeah, they're way out there. Yeah, way out there. Okay. So what do we gain here then? So it's 470 here. Still out there, Gary. Have a good one, my friend. We have 5k fuel as well, which is really good news. Yeah. How does the actual base look itself then? So 89 port damage. So the port's been really quite beaten up. And the airfield, yeah, again beaten up. Which is surprising to say that this was the first day of battle. But then again, I think it's the amount of potential severity. It does make sense if they were surrendering that they would just try and blow up everything, really. Okay. So we have the 11th. So again, they need to march south. The majority of the 5th Division is here. Then Dakota, then at Georgetown. And so I can actually reform the 5th Division by moving south, which is really quite nice. We do have these elements over here, which is good. So I should be able to reform the division here. So let's take a look. We have 112. Got 55th here. So that element is at Palembang. What I will do then is, as soon as I'm able, I'll take the division down here from Palembang. Sorry, the regiment down here from Palembang. Have it then shipped back north to Malaya. So I can actually recreate the division. Okay. We have those forces returning to Saigon. That's moving the rest of the Yokosuka out here then. Okay. Yeah, it might be worthwhile just to take on an SLF unit then. We do have an option to use paratroopers then if we so wish to do so. I think having paratroopers as an option is a really good one. We might look towards, if I take a look over here then pressing F6. Yeah, so I can actually approach this base up the river here. It's a size... Oh, it's just an airfield. No port. Okay. Since Bob Blair has some AA in their base force, okay. Now, Chittagong's a nice large base there. But more or less irrelevant. As far as it goes, our strategy to invade India is... I'm not particularly interested in Burma per se. I think I will send a division and potentially 2 divisions, but I would much rather land upon Ceylon and move into India's interior, perhaps. I think they do receive additional reinforcements if you move upon Delhi, but the thing is, by the time you're actually at Delhi, you're already doing pretty damn well. There's a lot of resources that could be gained in India, a lot of victory points as well. That'd be quite nice. But yeah, that's not too far away. It would be really nice. It'd be nice to see India fall to Japanese arms there. Right, over here at 8A, we don't have much in the way of actual supply, which is not too surprising. Yeah, India is really very difficult to defend. I mean, the thing is, it's like it can be defended through Burma, but if the actual Japanese player just thinks, right, okay, I'm not going to move into Burma, I don't give a hell about Burma, then okay. And especially if you move behind them. Oh dear. It does get a lot of units, but the thing is, it's a very large area, and the thing is, when you do actually come to move to India, you intend to stay. Okay. So there's not a tremendous amount for us to do now. The turn went really quite well. I think what we do then is just get things shifting and moving now. Right. Yeah, there's a Vulcan saves there. A couple divisions is enough to obviously take most places that just aren't ready at that point. So we have elements of the 18th Division over here as well. So 18th Division can be organised, which is good. Coat, yeah, there we go. And so what I'm going to do then is actually get the elements of the 18th Division assembled. I might attack here then, considering there is a unit over here then. So I will launch an attack. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll launch an attack over here tomorrow, launch an attack here tomorrow as well. These forces obviously can begin marching south. What I'll be able to do then is, once Temla does fall, is move on to Temla. That unit will then be engaged by the regiment here and force a surrender, really. Which is good, so at least we'll be able to deal with the forces in the interior pretty quick. The only issue is that the, to be honest, what I'd probably be better off doing is just, I don't know, it's an awful track. It's awful. Yeah, well that's it. I mean, Burma's awful, really. I mean, this is it. There is bases like this at Akyap, or how you pronounce that, where there is obviously a base here where it is close to the actual roads, which, okay. But the thing is, it's a bit of a trap for the Allied forces, because obviously, yeah, the more they move in here into this awful terrain, I mean, this area over here is absolutely fine. You can move through that. Even with the secondary terrain, secondary roads, you can still move through that quite nicely. But yeah, the thing is, it's like, well, why as a Japanese player would you want to move into this area? There is much to be gained, I do agree, but the thing is, I'd rather take India and then potentially come back. It is nice, obviously, because you could have a land connection, but then again, if you do have the power to move into India, you're probably able to actually secure naval logistics. Yeah, the oil is pretty good. What is it, at Mandalay? It's not Mandalay. Magway. Yeah, that's quite good, I do agree about that. We'll see. We'll have a good opportunity to take Burma in this campaign, which is nice. We'll also be in Burma pretty soon. I do have the actual RTA forces over here just currently waiting. The issue is they begin with a lot of their forces disabled and will take time to actually recover that. Yeah. Well, it's one of those, isn't it? I do agree regarding India, because obviously it is further out there. You do have to have pretty good control of this area. Oh well. It would be nice to secure Ceylon. It would be very nice to take this from the British. It'd be a really nice little base there. It'd be one of those where it would be under threat unless we actually conquered India pretty quick sharp. But it's one of those where it could cause him pain. I do intend to take Cocos Island and Christmas Island to actually establish a naval service position out here at Cocos Island. Okay. There's 3 units over there. I'd imagine the RTA could manage them. I'm just waiting on the additional RTA to move into the area then. The issue is I am being bombed, so I do want to be in movement. So I do want to be in combat mode. So if I'm in combat mode, I might as well just continue to move over here. I am being bombed, so I might as well continue in that mode then. We do have the rest of the RTA marching out. Okay. Yeah, I agree there. The campaign in China is just beginning, really. Oh, let's see. Yeah, you're complaining about supply, which is not too surprising. I do want to retain an actual division here, actually. I'm going to begin to move out upon the roads over here. Now, we do have the option to move down here as well. I would like to actually have some naval support available for Wenkao if I do move out that way. No, they're not very good, but they're still good enough. I mean, this is the thing. It's like the terrain over here makes a big difference. They're still fine. Yeah, well this is it. As soon as we actually have the 3rd Air Division here, then we will be attacking Rangoon. As far as it goes over here, I could probably just take the actual zeros now. But there's still the chance he might move additional forces into Singapore. So I think until we take Singapore, we might potentially retain the zeros, but we will be able to move them out shortly. Well, that's it. We'll be underway with that. We'll be underway with that. Third will arrive then tomorrow. So tomorrow then, the 25th of December, I might move the zeros just north actually. I've got a sufficient amount of air power here to actually manage that. I think we'll move the zeros to the north then. Their fatigue is a little bit up there, but then again they'll be moving to Bangkok, which is a large base. There's a fair amount actually on the airfields that are Bangkok, but I could probably manage that. So we'll shift them out there to Bangkok. Right, okay, so obviously 2 or more would damage there. There's no heavy air of Rangoon, good to know. Okay, I could potentially go ahead and start sweeping Rangoon, but I think, I'm actually saying that I will need some Oscars out here as well, actually. Okay, so I do have some Oscars here. Right. Yeah. It's a 12-strong squadron. 3 days before we have all of it. Okay. Yeah, okay. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the actual zeros here then. I think what I'm going to do here then is rebuild the squadron. Okay. And the difficulty is obviously the altitude there, but I think brute force should be sufficient. They do have that maneuverability. I do want to be able to make sure I can actually hit Batavia. I would like to have zeros actually escort the bombers, but I do want to actually go ahead and start hitting Batavia's airfields once again. We had a pause of a day, but I think we need to make sure we are hitting the airfields here. I can't allow him to actually remain in position there, really. Looks like some of these subs have actually arrived here, so they can be refueled. They've been rearmed, that's good news. We'll get them moving back out into the area. I know. Right, they can move out that way. I suppose it's better to split the squadron up, isn't it, really? When can I get more Shinano? Well, we are building Shinano. Not that. There we go. Yeah, there's Jatsu says the Flying Tigers are probably in Rangoon. I would be surprised if they weren't. So I think it might be worthwhile just to sweep Rangoon. It might be worthwhile just to have these zeros rest for the time being. Let them burn off some of that fatigue and potentially move more zeros to the north, really. Question is, how long do I need a squadron down here? We do have 2 squadrons in the area. I might just have to rely upon 1 squadron. And this is it. Until we actually get more fighter squadrons there, really. Of AA? In Palembang itself? Or... Oh, CV's right. Well, that's what we have obviously been built. Actually, the Japanese don't get that many. It's all about how you use them, really. The case of playing the Japanese is you don't have to win, you just have to not lose, really. But I think that's the issue with the Allied sort of mindset is like, oh yes, we're going to get all this and that. Well, the thing is, that's fine. It doesn't matter how many carriers you have. You're not going to be able to defeat Japan unless you actually do force a landing, essentially. Well, that's going to be how we run things, really. It's going to be a bitter and bloody fight to the absolute end. Okay, anyway, need to get into what I was going to do. So we'll sort by ETA then. Yeah, Shinano's under construction, so it'll be showing up in November 44, which is some time away. We may decide to accelerate it, but I don't really see that happening anytime soon. We'll have Shoho in a few days then. Yunyo's not too far off. She's actually arriving early in this campaign, which is nice. Okay. Iron Man. I've not seen the Iron Man. What's the Iron Man do, actually? Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's cool. I've never taken a look at the Iron Man one. I might have to take a look at that. So we do have Unyo. We have Chuyo as well. They're not too far away. 23rd of May, 42 is not too far. We are accelerating Kaiyo and Shinyo. Ideally try and bring them into 42 if we can. Yamato. Sashi obviously under construction. So we'll be arriving 28th of May, 27th of November. Alright, that's good to know. Cool. Yeah, I'll have to take a look at that, Vulcan. I'll have to take a look at that. I might do a solo game afterwards, actually. That'll be quite interesting to take a look at. Oh dear. Yeah. You need to tell him, G-Man, stop moving everything at full speed. It's going to bite him in the arse one day. Okay, Nishin's not too far away. Or Nishin. Yeah, there we go. So we are accelerating the actual destroyers over here. So Kazugumo, Makagumo aren't too far away. Should be able to cut that time in half. Oh dear. There we go. Okay, I'm getting distracted once again as usual. Right. Oh, there we go. I had thought I was doing it next turn, but it seems they're actually underway this turn. This is the only issue when I'm actually between games. I actually forget what I'm doing in one and doing in the other there, really. Not as bad as me running my CVs out for you. Oh, God. I bet that was a bad time. Okay, so we do have Mutsu Hyuga over here. Okay. So we're going to be... Yeah, we're already underway to BLeAcHACiD, so you can see that we have the Denpasar landed forces over here, then. He's aware of us, then, but he's not aware of the battleship force, which is interesting. But yes, we're moving in over here. It might be potentially worthwhile to put the battleships in there with... I might do that. The issue then is they'd be using their guns. I might just place one of the battleships in there. I would have preferred to have have a few more actual cruiser-sized ships, but we'll make do. So we do have the BLeAcHACiD landing then. So that is a regiment there and a koi. We do have a second regiment over here, the 20th Regiment. And it's also kind of the 5th Air Division, at least the remnants, the actual rest of the 5th Air Division over here. What I'm going to have to do, I really do need to detach them. I could probably do a detach them and continue with the 20th Division, so the 20th Infantry Regiment. I'll separate them, so what I'll do then is actually have do not unload. The issue is we are going to be moving over the top of one of his actual, sorry, 2 of his subs, 3 subs over here. That's a lot of his bloody submarines over there. I've not actually. Is it any good? I've never heard of it actually. Okay, replace that fuel. We do need fuel over here to make us our... I'm going to essentially have to act like a vampire and just survive off of the actual ships in the area. Oh dear. Right. So start patrolling there. He's not daft. He knows what we're up to here, really. It might be worthwhile to actually just continue to move on and drop the air division off elsewhere, potentially even over there at BLeAcHACiD. But I would prefer to have them here at Megasar. Yeah. Well, this is it. We've been really facing a ferocious submarine campaign here. He sank a great number of ships outside Kendari, which has been a real pain in the arse. It's been nasty. It has been nasty. But we're nearly at the end of it now, actually. Oh, we'll check on the AKs, actually. Right, so Congo's under repair over here to Hong Kong. 15 damage. We're about 30 days out there. Yeah, 33 days. That'll not take too long. I put her on actual high priority there. It takes longer if you put her on critical, but that's fine. We're putting more into this, so it'll not be too long. So we'll be looking at about 33 turns there. We'll have her back. So, yeah, that'll be good. Should be fully repaired by then. Sendai is 22 days. Harusame is going to take 14, so not too long there. And we can see here then we will have a good number of patrol boats arriving 4 or 5 days there. Yeah, the Ansoyu class is going to be fantastic. You can see how many Ansoyus we have been converted here. That's a lot of Ansoyus. That's a lot of Ansoyus. These guys are worth their weight in gold. So that varies there from 4 days, 5 days, all the way up to like 13, 14 days out, really. Okay, so we will have additional patrol boats tomorrow. The submarine tender is going to be 163 days. Destroyer turn is going to be about 30 odd days to 40 odd days. Aviation tender is going to be quite some time, but this is it. We have converted the Kyushus into just aviation tenders, really. They're going to be absolutely fantastic there. AGPs, AGs as well. So we'll have a good glut of AGs shortly. But this is what we really need here, then, the AKEs. As we're looking at 4 days, then, before we do have a great glut of AKEs arriving. 2 ACMs over there, be nice. Vegan, yeah, these guys need to be moved out to Luzon when we do get the opportunity to do so, actually. Okay. If I take a look over here, then we have the subchasers. Right, so we are still unloading the 38th Division, then. How much is aboard there? 9827. This could take some time. There is a lot of subchasers in this area, though. A lot of them. It's 3 in this actual task force. I mean, I might want to just break them off. 3 subchasers there, 4 patrol boats there, 4 patrol boats there, and more subchasers there. It might be worthwhile actually breaking off the subchasers, considering that's really what they're meant to be doing. I mean, they're 19 knots. What's their cruise speed? Their cruise speed is 15. They're nasty little buggers. They don't have exceptionally good depth charges, but the speed and the sheer amount of them will actually be quite formidable. Okay. So break that off into another task force. It would be nice if we could actually hit a few more of his actual submarines out this way. So that sub there is moving southwest. He is moving a good number of his actual subs there to Manila. The interesting thing is it might be worthwhile to potentially consider a port strike in Manila. But even then, it's... well, we'll march upon it, really. Pretty soon. There is a good number of actual submarines there. I think those ones are pretty much still good to go there. Yeah. Yeah, no, they can get lucky sometimes. They can certainly get lucky. Right, there's nothing in this actual hex that matters, so what we'll do then is actually stick there. No, I'll have to think about it. It would mean we'd have to bring forces to the area. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's been really nice to us in Luzon as well. He's just been really nice in Malaya and Luzon. This is why I'm not taking really any credit for it. I can take credit for obviously making use of the roads and actually making use of actual naval landings over here, but as far as it goes there, it's nice. Possibly so, but, well, hopefully we can change that. We'll have an early conquest over here in Malaya. We'll have a very early conquest of Bataan over here, which is great. Okay. Right. Do you think he's been nice to drag out the campaign for you? Well, I think he's been nice because, I don't know, the way I looked at it, he's played that many games. He's been playing for years now. I think he's been playing at least over a decade. He's been playing since, what was it, Uncommon Valor was out. I'm not entirely sure when that was out. He's obviously played One of Pacific and obviously One of Pacific Admirals Edition. He is, of course, a moderator on the forum. He knows his shit. He knows it back and forth. I think as far as it goes with Malaya, I think he's just been kind. I think as far as it goes with Luzon as well, the Philippines, he's been kind. I think as far as it goes, he's probably just like, look, I've done it a million times. I know what's going to be a result of that, just let it be. Possibly. Or it might, I mean, the case I'm chalking up to is, it's just not worth his time there, really. Which I can understand there as well. So yes, we'll launch the attack here tomorrow then. So that will see us drive out the Philippines over here. We'll fall back likely to Clark. I think I will have the 38th Division move upon either. So let's see then. So the 25th, so Christmas Day, will take Lingayen. It's then 2 days march to Clark. So we'd arrive at Clark on the 27th of December. 2nd Division will arrive there tomorrow as well. Okay. Yeah, I mean, what I'm looking to do here then is try and brute force this, essentially. Yeah, run to Bataan and Singapore, yeah, exactly. He's been... Well, no, even then, he could have got a lot of forces down to the south, but we did pull off a successful Mersing Gambit, which was really quite nice there. Yeah, Clark is still pretty nasty. If I take a look, Clark is... I can't actually tell what terrain it is from looking at it. It looks like jungle rough. So I think this times 3 terrain is pretty nasty. Bataan's only times 2, but it's obviously just a fan when a lot of forces get bottled up at Bataan. Oh, hang on a second. He is actually moving his forces out there. Yeah, he's moving his forces there. I almost missed that. Oh, wow, okay. Oh, there we go. Yeah, he's moving his forces over here at Bataan. Maybe he just wants it to be over sooner. I mean, actually, no, to be honest, it does make sense. It does make sense. He's going to move the forces there at Bataan. He's going to move them into Clark. But that's good then. At least it shows he's actually going to be taken as seriously now in Luzon. He's obviously taken note of that. I don't think if he wasn't taken as seriously, he probably would have remained in place. And that actually is a better idea there. See, Bataan doesn't have that much in the way of fortifications. I think it has level 1, level 2 fortifications upon start. But Bataan really, like as we just said, as Avoken just said there, Bataan really isn't the point you want to defend. It's the point that you're forced to defend. Well as Clark with the actual terrain there. That's actually quite good news. I mean, it doesn't mean that we will not have to fight for Bataan, but it does actually make it somewhat easier for us, really. Possibly. And it makes sense. I mean, Clark actually has a better chance of holding out than Bataan. But there's some units you can merge from Bataan. Right, that makes sense. That's a good thing that we have 4 divisions in the area, then. Bataan is only times 2 terrain, while Clark Field is times 3 terrain. That is pretty damn nasty. It might be potentially worthwhile bringing the 65th Brigade then to ensure we do take this as quickly as possible, but I don't think the 65th would be required. I'm not entirely sure what the actual AV is in Manila. It might just be worthwhile having the actual 65th march upon Manila, just to ensure that he can't move there, really. That's times 2 terrain, which is not ideal, but we'll see. If he moves everything out, we'll have to do a landing net there. I mean, that'd be interesting, but even then, he can't move everything out because he obviously has static coastal defences and forts and etc. It could still be something we force, but it would be at a great cost, especially with the mines. Especially with those coastal defence guns, it'd be really at great cost. But we'll see there. Right, okay. There's not a tremendous amount of other things I need to go through here. So I think what I'll be doing then is, in a few moments, actually call in the stream here. Then I'll just go ahead and take a look at the turn off cam. And yeah, then we'll go ahead and just get things fired off. If I can get the turn sent off tonight, I'll try to do that. But it would likely be either tonight or tomorrow. We'll see about that. It looks like 20 village you pay Ks a few DDs. No, I remember you telling me about that, actually. I remember you telling me about that. He might also hold in Manila. See, Manila's only times 2 terrain. The real meaty defense is at Clark. It does make sense that he's actually moving there. So it's a very large base that can actually hold on to a lot of supply there. I mean, this is it. He doesn't really want to end up in situations where it's a supply black hole, really. That's times 2... Sorry, that's a size 2 port, size 1 airfield. That's got a size 2 port and a size 8 airfield. So if we compare that, let's take a look at San Fernando. See, San Fernando, I think it might be if they have a port, then they can hold on to just a significant amount more. Where's one to compare? Okay. Right, okay, so this base, for example, it's only a size 1 airfield. It has nothing else, so it can only hold on to 8,000 supply. If you exceed 8,000 supply, then you get supply spoilage. So what I mean by supply black holes is I don't want to end up in situations like this where it's a supply black hole. Which is probably one of the reasons why he's actually moving to Clark, because obviously he can get more supply into Clark with less spoilage. Now that does have a size 2 port, so it could probably hold on to a significant amount of supplies then, due to that being a port. But I think it makes sense that he holds here, makes his stand here really. Obviously he can then fall back to Bataan anyway. You know about spoilage. Oh dear. Okay, let's take a look at these units. And so what we'll do with the units over here at low star then is begin to march them south. The good news is, oh god, it's a secondary road. Ugh. Right, 4. I don't know how strong it is at typing. I don't think it's especially strong. You're still marching, okay. Max supply of base is function of port plus airfield. Right, makes sense. Right, 40 seconds in the wrong movement mode, that's why. Okay. Oh dear. I wish we could go back and repeat the early days with the newfound experience, but here we are. Okay. Well, what we'll do then is we'll march these forces down to the south, to Taiping. So we'll set all the units to march there. Do I need a garrison over here at a low star? I do not, which is great news. But yep, you can see there's that 5k fuel, that supply there's nice. I mean, the beauty is we could actually refuel from Victoria Point in the near future, which is really nice. Like, obviously having MKB continue to move north. So what we'll do then is we're going to go ahead and split up the MKB here. Have one element move that way, have one element move that way. It would be nice if we could actually track down where the Prince of Wales is, really. Also, capturing Bataan exposed. Oh, well, that's true, actually, yeah. That is actually very true. No, it's a good consideration. It's something that we might have to take into real consideration. I would like to have more actual reconnaissance in the area. I do have a fair amount of reconnaissance over here at Formosa, so I might actually go ahead and take some of that, actually take it down there. Yeah, we hit... we actually... See, this is it. This is it, G-Man. You need to go ahead and watch the rest of the actual series. You need to go back to the start and actually watch the rest of the series. Yes, we did hit Prince of Wales twice in port with torpedoes from G3s. And then that led up to the events of the Battle of Sinkwang, actually, where we did actually have the Prince of Wales... Sorry, no, the Prince... Yeah, no, the Repulse. And, what was it? 3 light cruisers and a couple destroyers. So yes, the Repulse, a couple light cruisers, a couple destroyers moved over here to Sinkwang, where we did have the Battle of Sinkwang. That is where the battleship Congo and Haruna engaged in battle with the Repulse. That is where Congo was damaged, actually, during battle. She took an actual torpedo. I think it was actually launched by a Repulse, and it might have been launched by one of the cruisers or destroyers, but she took a single torpedo there. Repulse got the ever-living shit kicked out of her. She got hit, I think it was a shell. I think it was a 36cm shell from, was it Haruna or Congo? But it was pretty much the most critical shell of the battle because it landed in the engine compartment, the engine area of the Repulse, and essentially she was more or less crippled in the water at that point. Well, what happened then is we did have G3s, and I think it was just G3s or G4s coming out to strike at the Repulse. She then took a further 6 torpedoes launched from the air to, yeah, not, well, yeah, she was pretty much dead in the water already, but then, yeah, she was hit by another 6 torpedoes. Yeah, I mean, we think that the Prince of Wales is nearby. The good news is we do have the Minikabatae over here that's moving out into the area, and there's absolutely nothing that can oppose the Minikabatae. But we have had quite the bloodbath in the area so far, really. If I take a look at the actual ships sank... let's see... So these are all the ships that have been sank in the game so far. The biggest losses that we've had was the Kinagoose and the Aoba. That did come at the hands of Dadman and his American bloody carriers. We've lost a lot of bloody cargo ships and that to him, really, around Wake, which has been rather annoying, really. But we'll eventually recover Wake and be able to repay the favour, I suppose, in some kind. But yes, we definitely wiped out the Repulse, so Repulse is dead. Prince of Wales was hit twice by torpedoes. We think she's still around somewhere. She's been heavily slowed. We may yet find her. I would be very happy if we did find her. But she ultimately has only so many places she can actually head. She might try and head off map, but we'll see. Yeah, so we lost Kinagoose and Aoba off Wake Island. We did sink the Houston with the MKB early on in the war. We hit the President Coolidge at the beginning of the war with a single torpedo, but she didn't go down. The Cannonbla and the Menorah we actually did sink in battle down this way, which was a nice pickup there. Nice little AMCs. The Java... Was it the Java that we put down with torpedoes? Yeah, so Java... No, I think they all went down with torpedoes, actually. I think one of them was sank by Mutsu and Hyuga. One of them we did get very lucky. I think it was Java. Was it Java? It might have been Java. No, that's 18-inch. Those are the air launch torpedoes, aren't they? Yeah, it was the De Ruyter. We put the De Ruyter down with a lucky sub-attack, actually. I can't recall the actual name of the submarine, but she put about 2 or 3 torpedoes into the De Ruyter and actually put her out for the count there. We lost Congo Maru. The Connecticut we sank off the US coast. I think it was Trinity. We sank down here. Black Hawk we sank somewhere in this area as well. Mike Maru, Kishima Maru, we lost a lot of our actual troop transports out of this area, outside this area, Kandari actually. We sank the Marosa, Mariso, whatever, last turn. These ships over here. We've lost a few Japanese ships, but not a tremendous amount there, really. We sank a good number of actual US tankers so far. Sank the Trump as well. Venice Maru went down the day before, I believe it was. There we go. Sank a good few Dutch destroyers so far. A few British destroyers as well. Well, this is it, but it's one of those things of... you don't want to just waste force, really. Force is always force. It doesn't matter how old it is, really. If it's still usable, it's still valuable, really. But it was nice. We did force an engagement. We sank the De Ruyter over here at Denpasar, actually. And then we did have a battleship engagement with Mutsu and Hyuga engaging the other 2 destroyers. So the other 2 light cruisers out here. Well, we did actually lose one of our own one of our own destroyers, actually, which is unfortunate. Okay. So we have hit a significant amount of actual shipping in the short term. Not doing bad so far. The amount of aircraft lost, though, has been really nice so far. If we take a look. So he's lost 335 so far. We're up to 171. If we can keep increasing that, I'd be quite happy. As far as it goes for pilot losses, it's nowhere near as bad. Yeah, so we've only had 62 killed in action. There's 20 that have been wounded in action. And 17 missing in action. So not bad at all there, really. Oh, somebody asked about aces, didn't we? I don't think we have our first ace as of yet. We're getting close. The amount there with 4 kills is increasing. Okay. Oh. That's not right. That's not right. Oh, okay. I'm going to quickly save it, because that was like seeing into the Matrix there. Yeah. Okay, yeah, we'll save it there, because that was a little bit like looking into the abyss and having the abyss stare back, really. Don't want none of that. Okay, there we go. Now let's take a look at these assets over here. It looks good, but it's actually moving additional assets away from the area. I don't particularly know when I want to have a first-rate regiment. It is good to have paratroopers. Just where do we want to actually have them? I might have this force actually move around this way, really. It could be potentially worthwhile to have construction units here at BLeAcHACiD, but I'd rather have these construction units down here at Kopang and the Timor area, but then again, I don't really have the Timor area under my control as of yet. So I can't really build up any of these bases right now. Right. I'm going to have to think when I want to have them, really. Engineers down here would be worth their weight in gold. It's one of my favourite sayings there. I think what we'll do then is I could probably still have them head south and then actually get some additional... Get the AV in the area to take control of these bases over here. I mean, like, a few squads loaded up and each boat would take a number of these bases very quickly. And then I could actually begin to build this area up then. I would have to get a proper headquarters down here. We do have, only for the moment, the air flotilla. The actual headquarters has been moved over here, so we have the 5th Air Division here. Yeah. I guess I'll have that plan for Surabaya. Not that it particularly matters, but I will. Okay. Okay. What I'll do then is... let's take Amphibious here. The issue is I don't want to remain in BLeAcHACiD too long. That Superdraw is on one reaction, is it? Which one is it? Are you talking about these ones over here? Or did I miss one of mine? I'm not entirely sure there. Okay. So we do need fuel out this way. There is actually fuel in the port. We do have the oilers. Also, we could take the fuel from the ships over here as well. Oh, right, okay. Right, so small tankers which we need to make use of. Kashino's still here and kicking, which is great news. We'll get that loader, that tender loaded there. Tender load in care. And there's still plenty of supply actually in the port as well that I can make use of, which is really nice. I thought I had oilers here. Oh, I do have oilers. I've got 3 oilers here. I thought they actually had fuel. Seems they've actually been using that fuel then on the shipping, which makes sense. Okay. Not exactly ideal, but okay. That might be incorrect, but I'm going to double check that. Right, they actually truly have none. Okay. That's not exactly ideal. Oh, these guys, right, that makes sense. Okay. Let's see. I think I might fold the battleship group in with the regiment then. I do need more supply, but then again, I suppose what we could do is land over here. We've got 3k supply. I could land over here to BLeAcHACiD then, or at least send that regiment over there to BLeAcHACiD. I could potentially take then some supply from BLeAcHACiD and move it over to take Samarinda. Yeah, I think that makes sense then. So what we'll do then is... I'm going to keep the actual... yes, I'm going to keep the actual Destroyer Mine... Well, then again, the Destroyer Minesweepers are really quite good, but I don't need them yet. So what we'll do then is I'm going to take the Destroyer Minesweepers. Let's see... I think it's in the last 3 ships, isn't it? Right, there's 5th Air Division there. Another element of 5th Air. Right. Right, there we go. I think that's the only part that has that, okay. Right, so they can head into BLeAcHACiD, and they can actually begin to unload there. So, that's fine. It means that we'll actually have a good deal of actual supply, and we do need that supply in BLeAcHACiD, actually. That's going to give us the ability to then project torpedoes out there with no problems. We were previously projecting torpedoes out from Kendari, but we're switching over to BLeAcHACiD to actually have a greater impact against Java, really. But we're not too far from the lands at Java. Looking forward to that. Right, so they can move into the port there. I think what I might do is actually have some patrol boats link up with them. But it's a nasty little area. I really, really do not want to lose them. So what I'll do is I'll have them actually go ahead and meet that force. So meet that task force and meet 110. Merge with them there. Okay. Java's not so bad at all, really. It really is. It's not bad. It's just actually getting the actual AV there. But as far as it goes, Java is a pretty... it's a fairly easy conquest. It's just not able to stand... I mean, once Japan actually gets into a position to land upon Java, then the end is inevitable there, really. I mean, Batavia's only a ×2 port, sorry, a ×2 base. Surabaya is clear. I mean, there is some nasty areas of terrain, some nasty hexes there, but those are not the ones that actually matter. So yeah, I mean, this is it. When we do land here at Java, we'll go in pretty sharp, and just go in aggressive, just be nasty to him, really. But the good news is we'll be going in with a couple divisions there, really. Oh, but this is a thing, they're made up of Dutch units, and the Dutch have majority militia. There are some good Dutch units, but the thing is, they're just not going to last. They just don't have the capability to fight and survive, really. They will give in, they will surrender inevitably if you push them hard enough. As the Japanese, they don't. They don't have as much in the way of, like, armor and guns, but, yeah. Oh, of course, the guns, emotional guns, they don't mean shit. The thing is, you don't land at Batavia, and you don't land at Surabaya, you land at other ports. Okay. Right, so I'm waiting for the rest of this actual force to arrive here, which is good then. Okay. Right, so the rest of these guys would be butchered if I left them alone. What I'm going to do then is actually fold in the Mutsu, the Hyuga, the actual destroyers here as well then. These guys are actually going to continue to move on towards BLeAcHACiD. Please bombard them. Right, we're moving down that way then. So they're going to move on directly to BLeAcHACiD. I could potentially land at Samarinda instead. I might take that into consideration actually. Okay. Right. I could do with an actual battleship in here to actually take the coastal gunfire. The thing is, I don't really want to particularly do that either. I wish we could tell them do not fire. Just sit there looking pretty. Just sit there, take the shells, but don't fire. Just don't. Maybe use your secondary ammunition or something like that, but just don't fire. Yeah. I'm gonna have to move one in there, otherwise I'm gonna take casualties that are just not required. Ugh. Yeah, I guess we'll put them in there. What I'll do then is I will take... Which one's got more ammunition? Well, actually, no, I probably want the one with less ammunition. Definitely not Nagato. Nagato's got bigger guns. Those are harder to actually rearm. We'll take Issei. I'm going to fold in there 2 destroyers as well. Okay. So that means we actually have the force in there. I probably don't need the 2 destroyers in there, but I do want to try and make sure that they are protected. I don't like the idea of having battleships without destroyer support. So they're going to move into BLeAcHACiD. He may actually launch an air attack. We do have Zeros over here to make us, so I've actually been running long-range cap over them, actually. Fuso's probably out there with MKB, actually. Right, tell that to move direct. Right, you're moving direct. You have 4 hexes to go. You'll arrive there tomorrow. Not at night. You'll arrive in the daytime. What I need to do then is say you've got a single jag there. So I'm going to place your reconnaissance. I'm going to have you about 20,000 feet actually. Don't want to actually lose that to any sort of like cap or anything like that, or to flak. But we'll have you down there at BLeAcHACiD, a little bit of reconnaissance there. I could probably fly reconnaissance from elsewhere, but I'd like to make sure we have at least some reconnaissance there for the bombardment to act as spotter. There we go. You're still running reconnaissance over Ambon. Yeah, good luck with that. So we'll run 70-30 over here, then naval search. There we go. Rightio. Yeah, they're running full. Absolute, yeah, that's fine. I'm going to move it in there. They're set to unload, that's good. Yeah, so we'll go in there with about 100 odd, 150 odd AV. There's another 140 odd, 150 odd AV that follow up there at BLeAcHACiD. I think what would be better off doing then is having it just land upon Samarinda immediately, really. Could probably manage that. So do have our Dinas over here then. I mean, the Dinas are doing a good job. I mean, we are aware of the movements of a lot of actual assets in this area, so that's good news. To be honest, what it might be worthwhile doing is actually bringing the heavy cruisers and the actual battleship force over here, like Haruna, and or maybe even just the heavy cruisers, but potentially bringing surface assets over this way, and potentially actually patrolling around this area for a time being. The reason being, he is going to have about 30 odd ships that are going to be making a break out of this area. 31 ships are there. There's another sub there, so they're going to be making a break out of here at some point. So it probably would be worthwhile to actually stop that. That's something to consider. Okay, so still this element of 2nd Division over here, that's marching, just support. They've got a long way to go, though, frankly. Okay, so 38th Division, then. How much could we get here? mean, ideally they unload quickly, but the issue is they're not going to do that. It's only a size 1 port, so it's going to take time. They are in... yeah, see, they're in AKs. If they were in APs, I think they'd be able to unload sooner than that, but, yeah. It's going to take a little bit of time, frankly, but that's okay. I suppose what I'll do then is... let's see. I'm going to get 18th Division... Sorry, oh, God damn it. I'm going to get 38th Division March South anyway. I mean, that's still 195 AV. Obviously, that assault value will increase tomorrow. They might be unloaded in 2 days, 3 days total, but ideally the sooner they're unloaded, the better. But I'll have them march south, and then this is it. I can have them either potentially march upon Eber, or potentially consider moving on to Clark. But I would like to march upon Eber anyway, just to make sure that we are not flanked over there. So we'll get going with that then. There is this other element of 2nd Division, obviously marching there, which is still 99 AV. I might even have that actually go ahead and take care of Eber, potentially. But I think a division will be required at Eber due to the actual terrain there to make it go quickly. So a couple APs over that way that I need to make use of. But there we go. We'll call it about there for the actual stream. What I'll go ahead and do then is actually take a look off cam. Go ahead and take a look at how to orchestrate our response out in the Pacific. And yeah, I'll go ahead and make a summary video at that point. So I'd like to say a big thank you there, ladies and gentlemen, for watching. It's been actually a really good turn. It's been a really, really nice turn, actually. I expected it to go really remarkably different, but no, it went great. So very happy about that. So what I'm going to do here then is say a big thank you to my patrons. Because you guys really do help to make it possible. But it's good to have some new people in here as well. It's good to have you there, G-Man. Maybe you might come around to the dark side a little bit more often. Oh dear. Okay. So, a big thank you to Mr. Alex Diligent Gravy, the guy who complains if I miss him out. I'm sorry, you've got to blame YouTube for that. It is annoying, and I'm sorry. I've fixed it. It will be fixed ideally and never happen again. But thank you very much there, Alex. Thank you there, Mr. Baines. Thank you very much there, Mr. BLeAcHACiD, Deepic Duck, Dingo Bat 4, Eric Wild, Erkkijuusto, Funfo123, George Kilgore, Gregory VanHouten, Iceycrome, Imperator Thrawn, James Lindsay, Lord Luba, Paradigm Blue, Paul Sanders, Raphael, Rick Chambers, Ricky Blinson, my Singaporean friend who's not Singaporean. I think, where's he from again? He's like, I don't think he's from Texas, but he might be from somewhere in the US, actually, I believe. I've been north, actually. But indeed, thank you very much for Sam Spatch, Stanislav. I don't know how to pronounce your second name, but thank you so very much. SunYan, my good old Swiss sugar daddy. Susanna and Zigona, I need to actually make that name larger. Susanna and Daniel, thank you very much, man. Much appreciated. Talon1E, The Forgotten, Thunder, and Lindholm. Thank you so very much, man, ladies and gentlemen. You guys really do make it absolutely possible. It's fantastic. Thank you so very much. Hope to see you again in the future. If you guys do feel like I've actually earned your support, then potentially consider backing me on Patreon. Does make a big difference. It will make a greater difference as well once I do actually go ahead and start university. It will mean that I have more time to actually dedicate to providing content. There we go. I'll post a link down here. Thank you very much. See you guys later. Have a great one, my friends. Thank you for filling my addiction. Well, that's fine. You need to come around more often. You should watch the Dadman series, though. It's well worth it. Well worth it. Until next time, thank you, and goodbye. Tena heka banzai. Ayasumi nasai. Jane. Sayonara. Goodbye. I've said goodbye already. God, I need to learn more. Konbanwa, but it's a bit late for that. That's like good evening, but Ayasumi nasai. See you next time, guys. Arigatou gozaimasu.